despite a great performance by their starter, Ubaldo Jimenez. The Orioles need to score some runs. They turn the page. Today, they're hoping for their own fireworks. It's the 4th of July. Baseball hot dogs coming up from Chicago. It's the Orioles on Massett and WJZ, and happy July 4, everybody. Middle game of the 3-game set. White Sox shutting out the Orioles last night by a score of 1-0. And a very happy July 4. Hope you are enjoying it. Thank you for letting us be part of it. Baseball, of course, has been part of the 4th of July for as long as there has been Major League Baseball. There have been some great occurrences on the 4th of July around Major League Baseball. Probably none more vital or remembered than in 1939. It was Lou Gehrig Day at Yankee Stadium. His number was retired. He did not intend to speak at that event, but his manager, Joe McCarthy, on the field urged him to say something to the fans, and what he said has been long remembered.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. That I might have been given a bad break, but I've got an awful lot to live for. Thank you.
And for all the other things that have happened in Major League Baseball, Jim Palmer, on July 4, probably none more remembered than that.
No, and I think any of us had the good fortune of play this game, and I've played it for almost 20 years. But not only that, just how about living in this country? I mean, I think we embrace that. We celebrate it. And then, of course, here on 4th of July in Chicago, you got the Grateful Dead, you got fireworks, you got traffic, you got the taste of Chicago coming up. And the Orioles hope they can taste some offense because they really need it. Really struggling on the road. Generally, what now, 16 and 22. They need to score some runs, and hopefully that'll happen today.
They've been picking the pace up on the road, but they've been shut down the last 2 games. They've not scored for 19 innings. Jim, those are numbers the Orioles have got to get turned around.
Yeah, and you come to Chicago and you look at their overall record. They're 35 and 42, but they're 19 and 15 at home. They pitch really well. Their ERA collectively, the talk about the White Sox is a little bit over 3.5 or 3.25 runs a game. So again, this is a tough place to score. You have to pitch well, and then when you pitch well, talking to Ubaldo, I said sometimes back in the day, some of your best games you don't win because the other guy either out pitches. Last night he was great, but the one home run, the Abreu fly ball to right field, got out of here, and that was the difference.
Well, they go against Samaje, who's given up more in the first inning than anyone else in Major League Baseball. Whether you're at the beach or at home, thank you for joining us. We're going to go with the BAL AT CHA when we come back. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. We had a chance to visit with Tommy Hunter before the game. He played his college baseball at Bama 2006-7. There are the numbers he put up. ERA at 3.57. Look at the innings pitched, strikeouts to walks. Drafted first round by the Rangers in 07. We asked Tommy about playing for the Crimson Tide.
Well, I was there. We were pretty damn good. So it was you know, it's a pretty big sport still. I mean, you know, they have a long tradition down there. Baseball it's coming along. We had, you know, me, David Robertson, myself, David Robertson, Alex Avila. I mean, there's quite a few guys that have been coming out of there. Dugas just got called up to the. I mean, there's quite a few people coming out of Alabama, and you know, I mean, it was a program that, you know, it was hot when I first got there, and it's kind of stayed on the map for a little while.
Does it compete with football, or did you get a real cooperation there?
You know, I don't think so. Not anymore, man. I mean, it's kind of you want to say it's a one sport show there, but I mean, it's really not. I mean, they really do a pretty good job with the entire student athlete body. But football has definitely taken over not only I think the University of Alabama, but pretty much this country for a while. But yeah, it was fun while I was there. I actually got to see the catch, pro throw over the back, caught it on the guy's back of his shoulder pads, I guess. I don't know. Fell down with one, so that was pretty cool. Got to see that. Got to see, you know, quite a few cool things, but you know, nothing like the last, I guess, 5 years, 6 years, whatever it's been. 5 out of the last 6, 4 out of the last 6.
How important was that part of your baseball career to your development?
I mean, it's pretty much. I took it as I had certain goals throughout life, and once you met them, high school was one of them. Choosing to go to a different high school than all of my friends, you know, trying to give myself a chance to, you know, get to where I wanted to be, and then choosing Alabama. I knew I wanted to play in the SEC, just didn't know where. Took a couple visits and wound up at Alabama, and you know, 2 years later, got me a chance and invitation to play professional baseball, and then, you know, just climb your way back up again. So it's kind of like stepping stones throughout life and get where you are.
Why Alabama?
Actually, I'll tell you the whole story, man. It was I wanted to go to Auburn really bad. Ever since I was a little kid, watching Frank Thomas, watching the College World Series. I mean, when I was growing up, Auburn was just an absolute just powerhouse. So that's what I saw as a kid growing up, and you know, I just wanted to go to Auburn. Went on an unofficial visit. You know, never really got heavily recruited. The coaching staff was fired, and Tom Slater took over the year during my recruiting class, and I never got a call back from him. So I went on visits to Georgia and Alabama, and just kind of fell in love as soon as I stepped on the campus of Alabama. I mean, it's just a beautiful campus. I mean, I didn't even know who Bear Bryant was. I mean, I'm from Indiana, so, you know, it's basketball up there. So it was definitely a culture shock. It was definitely a you know, it's different than anything I've ever known, and it just, you know, broadened my you know, I guess my spectrum on life, I guess, you know, a little bit in Alabama.
Hey, kind of ironic, though, that it would be Auburn, Alabama, as you learned.
It would. And then, you know, you find out how big of a rivalry it is. And that the year after my freshman year, I got a chance to play on the USA team. And Tom Slater was one of the coaches. And I got to let him know about the story. And, you know, he was a little hard on himself at the first of it, man. So, I mean, it was funny. Like, I mean, I was bound and determined. I mean, I didn't even get an offer, didn't get anything, and I still wanted to go. So, all they had to do was call me, man. It was pretty funny.
Tommy Hunter, how about you go from Auburn desired Alabama. Take a look at our BGE home game time temperature. Much warmer today. We're at 77 to start. Little breeze, which is blowing from left to right field. BGE home, Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Orioles, brought to you by Southwest. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. It'll be Machado, Paredes, and Jones. Davis, Wieters primarily gets in. Hardy, Snyder, and Flaherty. Paredes, runner in scoring position, number still at the top.
And Samardzija, Jeff will Pitch 17 start. This will be the second start. He pitched in the no fan game and then gave up 6 in the first inning. Hard thrower. Got a really good fastball. The command's a whole other story. Doesn't walk a whole lot of people, but his pitching coach Don Cooper was talking about yesterday that maybe sometimes gets in trouble. And as you mentioned, 59 runs, 19 of them in the first inning.
Amazing number. And Manny Machado will take the pitch outside, so Machado will get ahead 2-0. Samaja doesn't walk a lot of people, but if he's going to walk people, it tends to be in the first inning. He has given up 5 doubles, a triple, 3 home runs, 6 walks, and there have been 2 errors committed in the first inning. You talk about starting pitchers who have trouble getting into the ball game. Never heard of numbers like that before.
Well, Don Cooper was talking about, watch his windup. He's a leg swinger. So when you swing your leg, he's got that little extra. And then what happens is when the minute you get somebody on, you go to the stretch position, leg comes up, doesn't swing because you're worried about runners, and all of a sudden the windup becomes a little more direct, a little more compact. And he's a big guy, 6'5", about 235 pounds.
Manny waiting on it, and he's on with a walk, wouldn't you know it? Well, the Orioles get the leadoff man on.
Yeah, take a look at your defense, and of course there is no defense for walks. Cabrera, Eaton, Garcia, Gillespie, Ramirez, Sanchez, the youngster, 23-year-old. Adam LaRoche will play first base, and then Soto will do the catching.
So let's see if the Orioles can get out of their 19-inning drought without a run right here in the first inning with a leadoff man on. Here's Paredes. He's the DH, did not play in the ball game last night. Goes after the first pitch, coming back to Cabrera. Melky's got it. And the runner back to first base. That ball tailing right back to him, so he hauls it in for the first out. Adam Jones hitting in the 3-hole. Adam has had his problems when it comes to the plate of late. He's trying to pick the game up a little bit as Adams' return since coming off the DL. It's going to take him a while to get back into game swing mode, and that's simply the way it is for all players who end up on a DL for any extended period of time. An extended period doesn't mean very long.
Now there's a rhythm to hitting, there's a rhythm to pitching. You got to be able to slow the ball down. You got to feel comfortable. I mean, they can start with reps. They can start with breathing. And we talked about 1 for 30 off of Danks. Very anxious last night, and Danks pitched well, so he took advantage of that.
Adams had only 5 hits in his last 32 at bats, and he is 0 for 5 against Samaja. Samaja with a runner at first, not going Machado. Ground ball to third base. That is a fair ball. 1 at second, relay to first, and got him. How about that? Well, Samaja has no first inning problems here in this game. We may get a challenge.
Yeah, I don't know if the ball
down
is fair.
At first base or third.
Yeah, it might be third. Of course, the third base umpire, Ted Barrett, and of course, hard to tell from that angle. He's standing right behind him, and then. You know, Buck Showalter knows the numbers on Samaja, so he doesn't want to let him get out of this first inning
on 6 pitches.
On 6 pitches.
Bud's waiting for his video people to let him know whether they want to challenge. He's got 30 seconds under the rules supposedly to do that, and the managers really have done well in that regard. They've gotten their answer pretty quickly. This one's a little more difficult because the video folks are looking at 2 things: the play at first base and the call down to third.
Yeah, the Orioles started their defensive game last night on a shot up the middle that Adam Eaton hit. Hardy threw from his knees, and
he's out.
They got it turned.
Not going to challenge any of it. So Samaja ends up throwing 6 pitches. Adam Jones heading into the double play. takes the mound. Oriole fans celebrating July 4 here in Chicago. Here's the lineup for the White Sox. Eaton, Abreu, Cabrera, LaRoche, Garcia, Gillespie, Ramirez, Soto, and Sanchez. And Abreu this season at home. Big numbers in a game winner last night.
Chris Tillman, 26-year-old right-hander out of Fountain Valley, California. So a lot of fastballs. The breaking balls, sliders, and curve balls, and the changeup, straight change with a little bit of a fade. So the ERA coming down, but then again, because of the Toronto games, 3 of them had no place else to go, and he's won 4 in a row, trying to make it 5 in a row against the White Sox.
And his first pitch will be taken for a strike by Eaton. Eaton had an 0 for 4 in the ball game last night. Average up to 247, as we said last evening. This Chicago team, while their offense overall in the season is very bad ranking wise, over the last couple of weeks, in the last 3 weeks really, they've got some players who have gotten hot. They're 13th in average, 14th in runs, 14th in home runs in the American League. The only number that's anywhere near decent where they thought they would be is their starting pitching, which is 8th in ERA, and even that's not where they had hoped it would be.
Yeah, recent history is
ball in the air, down the line left, long run, Snyder over, and no play.
Yeah, the recent history at 9 games of their starters here at home, and we talked about this last night, came in at 177, went down to a little bit over a run and a half a game. So they play well here because they pitch so incredibly well. It looks like, and maybe the ball carry a little bit better, but a normal game, April, May, very damp. So the ERA a little over 3.2 runs a game at U.S. Cellular for the White Sox.
Ought to favor the left-handers when blowing left to right at the start of the ball game, enough to have the flags unfurled. And the pitch is taken away by Eaton. Eaton, Abreu, and Cabrera here in the first inning against Tillman. He is 2-0 in games pitched here in Chicago. 2 starts, 2 wins here at Cellular. And that ball foul back. Overall, Tillman 3-1 against the White Sox.
Yeah, you look at his numbers this year. I mean, ERA incredibly high. Won 13 games last year, 16 the year before, 9-3 the year before, pitching a half a year with a very low whip, almost 1. That means 1 walk and hits per 9 innings. But the walk's up this year.
And he went up on that pitch, Eaton did, and fouls it away, probably onto the strike zone.
Yeah, that's 2 in a row. Coming off his best game of the year, at least in my estimate. And that was a 4-hitter against the Indians. Great arm speed. Got a couple of extra days of rest.
And the pitch on the way, 8th pitch of the at-bat, grounded to third, backing up on it. Manny Machado makes the play and records the out. So Tillman had to throw more pitches to the first hitter than Samaja did in the inning.
Snyder, Jones, and Davis, the outfield here in Chicago. And then Machado, platinum glove, 3 gold gloves in succession for J.J. Hardy. Flaherty, Parmalee, Chris Parmalee over first, and Matt Wieters DH last night behind the plate today. A couple of gold gloves there.
Here is Abreu. He's the designated hitter in the ballgame today. He started at first base last night. He delivered the home run, 3rd inning, leading off his 14th. It would be the only run of the ballgame. And Tillman goes after the first pitch. His only hit off Tillman, and he's had only 2 at bats, is a home run. 1 for 4 in the ball game last night for Abreu. 3-game win streak for the White Sox coming into this. He'll go the other way, not getting around on it on the foul ball.
Yeah, all you got to do is look at his spray chart. In other words, where he gets his hits. 25 left, 31 up the middle, and then 28 to right field. That's a lot of hits to the opposite field. And last night, his home run, 14th of the year, was the difference in the game.
And that one is going to be a fair ball into foul territory. Ball people get out of the way. They almost touched it. They didn't. First base umpire says. So it ricochets back. Played back in by Chris Davis.
Yeah, I'm not really sure that was going to be a double. You know, you get to the ball comes off the wall. Now, Abreu, for a big guy, and Buck's going to come out and talk about it. And of course, I don't think you win the argument because the umpires, I mean, they got to say, okay, where was he going to go? It's not automatic. Watch this. The ball comes off that wall. You can see the first base umpire getting out of the way, and Chris Davis is playing him down the right field line.
Now, the question is, did it touch anything that's not part of the playing field? Did it hit the security personnel and the ball boy, or did it hit one of their chairs?
Well, it gets out of the way, and I still think the umpire has to place. Yeah, got one of the security guys and couldn't get out of the way.
Because the initial call, I think, Jim, by Patillo, the first base umpire, was that he held his arms out like not only fair ball, but he did it again as though it didn't touch anybody. And we're looking at that replay, it did. But in any event, there's a runner at second base. Abreu credited with a double, 1 down, and Cabrera will get the RBI chance here in the first inning. Tillman's pitch is going to miss outside. Cabrera with a 2 for 4 in the ball game last night, and good numbers against Tillman. He is 7 for 22 lifetime off Tillman, including 1 home run. Big lead at second base for Abreu. That'll go the other way, and that's going to be foul. Now this White Sox team, they were heating up when they came home, having won the last 2 games on the road against the Cardinals. While they only put up 7 hits last night and 1 run, this certainly is a better hitting ball club right now than when they played at Camden Yards earlier in the year. That ball will be outside on the off-speed delivery, changeup that missed. And the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, everybody talks about the fact that, baseball is a marathon, 162 games. So if you have people with track records, Cabrera has that. Eaton, who led off, has it. Hit 300 last year.
Cabrera goes to third. He's got a base hit. Run will not score here. Snyder will get it in. Abreu had to hold up to see if the ball was going to be caught, but runners on at first and third with a base hit and 1 down.
Yeah, because of the extra rest, Chris Tillman had a little extra in his last game. So he had a little more on the fastball, a little more late life with his arm. Was able to as the game progressed. But Cabrera, a nice approach right there. He's got a ball up, so if he doesn't have that extra mile or 2, that little lift in his fastball, that high fastball becomes a little more hittable.
So he will look for the double play now with LaRoche coming to the plate. LaRoche an 0 for 3 in the game last night. Runners at first and third, only 1 down. He's hitting just .218 with runners in scoring position. Both ball clubs last night went 0 for 4 in these situations. And LaRoche will take the pitch, and it is in there for a strike. This ball club, White Sox, ranked 9th in the league with runners in scoring position at 247. Against the Orioles this year, they've only had 2 hits in 32 chances in these situations. 2 for 32 against the Orioles. And a big cut and a miss by LaRoche.
Yeah, 6 strikeouts in Chris Tillman's last start, so that's what he's looking for. And of course, LaRoche doesn't have to even get a base hit here. He's just looking to make contact, get a ball in the air, something the Orioles could not do last night.
Buck Showalter was not happy about that after the ball game. That's what he spoke to most of all last night. LaRoche behind 0-2, first and third the runners, and that one down the line, and it will be fouled. Let's take a look at our Maryland Life Casino inside the numbers.
Yeah, so the lowest ERAs you can see, Scherzer, Kershaw, Cy Young's right there. Tillman against the Central, Arrieta, National League East, and then Liriano against the West, pitching for the Pirates.
Those are low ERAs.
Are they ever?
Wow. 0-2 count. Runners off first and third. Abreu, Cabrera. And that ball's going to be put up in the air, but not deep. Shortstop going back will be Flaherty. Runner's not going to tag. Now tags and stays. Big out. Tillman gets LaRoche 2 down.
Yeah, so nice. And we saw Adam LaRoche really work the count last night. And right there, he gets behind it and then chases a little out of the zone. So excellent pitch.
So at 2 away, Tillman's got a shot at getting out of the inning. Will bring Garcia to the plate. Avisail Garcia, he's got a 6-game hit streak. He continued it with a 2 for 3 in the ball game last night. Garcia during that streak 10 for 23. That's a .434 average during the 6-game hit streak he brings into this ball game. Orioles were giving the middle and the infield, squeezed to the corners. He goes up the middle. Backhand off the glove of Flaherty. A run will score. Runner goes to third. Jones will get it back in. And the Orioles Orioles are going to give the White Sox an extra out and a run, 1-0.
They're one of the better defensive clubs in baseball. I mean, a bullet up the middle, and then not an easy play. Flaherty can't catch it. We're out of the inning if he does.
Looks like a base hit.
Well, you know, if you're a scorer, a lot of times you look at the velocity of the ball off the bat. You can see how close it was to actually hitting Chris Tillman.
So a single and an RBI picked up by Avisel Garcia, and a 1-0 lead for the White Sox here in the first inning. Don't ask Flaherty whether that was a base hit or not. That's one he would normally make a play on. So again, first and third. Here's Gillespie. He had an 0 for 2 in the ball game last night. And a little skip the rope down to third base by Melky Cabrera.
You know, you talk to whether you're pitching or you're an infielder, even outfielders. Day games are different. There's glare. A lot of times balls that are maybe a little bit easier to catch at night. They come out of the white shirts. Warm day here. All kinds of factors. But you're right about that being a ball that he usually snares.
Gillespie gets a chance, 2-11 with runners in scoring position for Connor Gillespie. Run on 3 hits here in the first inning. Breaking ball is going to be in the dirt. Matt Wieters will cover that one up. Gillespie with a 1 for 3. Lifetime off the Orioles starter. As Jim mentioned, an extra day of rest. It is his 5th start of the season on 6 days rest. In his career, he's 14-4 when he has that extra day's rest with an ERA of 3.3. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery and a big cut miss.
Yeah, we saw 92, 93 regularly on Sunday night. Chris pitching the second game of that split doubleheader because of the rain out on Saturday in Baltimore. And the other factor was that in the game in Toronto got knocked out early, so didn't throw the usual pitch counts, and then got to throw twice between starts because of that.
Pitch on the way and close, but not close enough.
Yeah, when's the last time you saw a 94-5 from Chris Tillman? I really think it's about his rhythm. You know, he's got that little leg kick to kind of give him time, because there are guys that hook the ball. In other words, they just kind of turn their wrist a little bit, so he's got to be able to sync everything up. And when his arm has a lot of arm speed, he's able to do that. And he certainly was able to do it on Sunday night against the Indians.
2 ball, 2 strike count. Runners on first and third. Gillespie waiting on it. That's going to come inside, and that's 25 pitches Tillman has already thrown here in the first inning. 6 for Samaja.
And he'll, you know, again, when you get into this kind of inning, Gary, you say, you know what, just let me get out of it.
Yeah.
We'll worry about the pitch. I mean, back in the old days, they counted the pitches, but it didn't matter. Now they do. So that's all you're looking for. And of course, you know what the White Sox are looking for. They just want to prolong the inning. They want maybe a 30-35 pitch inning for Chris Tillman.
3-2. Runner will go at first base, and a ball drilled in the air to center. Jones going back. He will make the catch, and that will retire Gillespie, but a run in, 3 hits, 2 are left on. White Sox get the early lead. Has won 500 for being selected, 500 more for every Orioles home run hit today. Play baseball buck scratch offs, win up to $50,000 or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/baseball. Our nation's birthday, 239th, being celebrated around the U.S. today. Lots of activities, large and small. And a lot of communities holding parades and firework activities today. We hope you have a really enjoyable day. Chris Davis coming up. Shift will be put on here. They'll move the third baseman Gillespie over to the second base position and leave Ramirez on the left side.
And then Sanchez, the second baseman, is kind of the roamer.
1 for 4 in the ball game last night for Chris, and the pitch is taken for a strike. 8th in home runs in the American League starting today's play. Chris with the 2 for 6 off Samaja, including 1 long ball. Down to first base, 3 Hopper. LaRoche. 1 down, second inning. In celebration of the 4th of July, the Orioles players, coaches are wearing special patriotic jerseys and caps today. You can join in on the celebration by bidding on these game-worn jerseys and caps at Orioles.com/auction. Each item is autographed by the player who wore it. Proceeds benefit the Orioles Charitable Foundation. To own a piece of baseball history, go to Orioles.com/auction. You can do it right now. Make your bid. There's the hat being worn today around Major League Baseball. First time these Stars and Stripes uniforms, as they're being called, have been used in the major leagues. All of the ball clubs are wearing them. I like the uniform. Not sure about the hats, but I like the uniform. And swung on and missed Matt Wieters. Behind on the Samaja delivery right there. Matt had it 0 for 4 DHing in the ball game last night. Wieters has not had a hit in his last 11 at bats. The umpires have those hats on too.
Yeah, Matt, again, only 37 bats on the road, 270 hitter. You know, the Orioles just they score almost a run, 1.4 runs more at home.
Off the end of the bat, a one-arm swing. Ramirez says, "I got it." He does.
Well, that's what we were talking about. So they didn't let him off the hook. He made some good pitches. You know, when he pitched in the no-fan game in Baltimore, he gave up 6 in the first. And one of them was a 3-run home run to Chris Davis. They made an error behind him. And then when he pitches, they usually do not score a lot of runs for him over the course of his career. It's just the way it is. I mean, last year he had an ERA of 2.99. That's under 3 runs a game. He was 7-13. Cubs and then the A's.
So he gets another left-hander. This is Parmelee, who had an 0 for 1 coming in late in the ball game last night. 2 down, nobody on. For Samaja, it's actually the left-handers who have done the number on him, 295. Average high for right-handers too at 278. He's given up 12 home runs. Swing and a miss on the pitch, breaking down, and a good one. 1 ball, 1 strike count.
Well, he's got a 2-seam fastball, 4-seam fastball. He's got a cutter. Got a slider, has a curveball, has a split.
That pitch is there for a strike as well.
And he's got some movement. You know, his last game he had a 4-0 lead going in the 8th inning in Detroit, and then a couple of singles, a hit batter, and then he made a bad mistake to Victor Martinez, hit a double, and it evaporated.
And that one's going to be up and away. His last win was in Minnesota 3 starts ago. They have been few and far between for him this season with a 5-4 record. The wins came earlier. Sporadic at best. Swung on and missed. Samaja's having no trouble here. There's his first strikeout. He's faced only 6 through the first 2 innings. Before the game, a lot of the veterans on bikes. forward to Miller time later in today's ball game, brought to you by Miller Lite. It's a baseball day, which means bring on the ice cream. And that's exactly what's going on there. Yumma, yumma.
Right, we all scream for ice cream, don't
Absolutely. On July 4, you better believe it. Or any other day for that.
Well, yes. Tell you what, I still remember when you lived above the ice cream store in downtown Baltimore.
Lost 40 pounds since then.
Thought you were a fireman coming down through the...
right through the ceiling. Open or closed, I had ice cream. Here's Alexei Ramirez. He squares to bunt with Machado back. Machado's not buying it. He stays back. Ramirez with a 1-for-3 last night. He's had a home run, part of his 4 for 9 of Chris Tillman in his career. That one is going to be blooped into right field. Oh my gosh. He had a blow on that to get a base hit, but that was enough to get it. And Ramirez has got a leadoff single here in the second inning.
Well, he's a lifetime 277 hitter, and he wants to kind of get the averaging maybe drifting in the right direction. Little cutter down and away, or actually just up and away, and he just right off the end of the bat.
It was almost slow enough for Flaherty to catch up to.
Well, you know the good hitters, they look around, they see where everybody's playing, and then they hit it where they ain't.
Willie Keeler.
Yes. And now you add a little bit of speed. Of course, you don't run on Chris Tillman. That just doesn't happen.
Giovanni Soto did not play in the ballgame last night. 1-for-3 off Tillman, a home run. Pitches in there for a strike. Orioles are now in second place, a game behind the Yankees. Yankees beat Tampa Bay last night. Tampa Bay's lost 6 in a row. They are 2 games out. Toronto's 2 games out, and Boston 7 off the pace. Yankees are really pummeling at home. Down the line, curving, and it will be foul.
And how they won. The bullpen, everybody talked about. Chris Archer pitched about as good as you could, but only 2 6 2/3. They bring in Jepson, who they got from the Angels. He gives up a couple, and one of them, the home run to Teixeira to tie it, and then McCann is finally getting back to, I think, what they thought they were going to get when they signed him to a 5-year deal. Hits a walk-off home run.
Yep, the Yankees now averaging 5.8 runs a game at home. That's the most in the majors for any team in their home yard. Runner goes in the air to right field. Chris Davis. He's got it, and back to first base. Goes Ramirez. Soto retired. Take a look at our who's hot, who's not in our ball game.
Travis Snyder, who's playing today, and then of course the rookie Sanchez against the Orioles. 0-for-8. Still trying to find somebody that can man the second baseman position here for the White Sox.
Celebrate the season with the American Standard All-Star Event. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities. Sanchez an 0-for-3 in the ball game last night. Quick throw against Tillman. Base stealers are 1 out of 2. And that's probably where it'll be at the end of the year.
They just don't run a lot. He holds them well. He's quick to home. He's got good catching, throwing catchers and Wieters and Joseph.
Sanchez hitting 187 left-handed, 111.
Hey, what you saw when Soto almost looked like a run and a hit is what Robin Ventura is going to do. Try to move somebody. He may not do it with Sanchez. The problem for hitters against Chris Tillman when he's on his game is the downward angle. Everybody talks about it after.
There's another one put up in the air. Again, Davis. Jones coming over. Jones wants it, and Jones will put it away. A couple of fly ball outs here. He is a fly ball pitcher. Time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use O's Couch Cam, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. So Tillman gets a couple of outs after the leadoff single by Ramirez. He remains at first, and the leadoff batter, Adam Eaton. Oh my gosh, the gnome's here.
Oh, the gnome.
The gnome.
There's more than one gnome.
Has made the trip.
Yes, he has.
Bunting for a base hit and just missed it.
We know the gnome's here. Where's the offense? That's the question.
That
gnome
is the issue.
For the moment. That could change.
Now we're trying to see if the gnome can bring luck upside down. It's a garden gnome, but it's not meant to be planted. He's not hit first. 0-1 count, 2 away. There goes Ramirez before he ever threw the ball. Wow. Now you're talking about your perfect timing and seeing it. Adam Eaton just took the pitch, stole a base.
Which is a rather wise decision. Or maybe either that or Adam thought they called timeout. You don't ever see this. That's number 9 out of 11. So even though Ramirez is not getting on a lot, when he does, he presents a challenge, gets himself into scoring position.
Eaton hitting just 200 in these situations, and he will swing at that one and miss at 77. He grounded out his first time up. So the White Sox already better than they did last night in that first inning, picking up base hit with a runner in scoring position, and now trying to get another one here. Tillman looking back at Ramirez. He'll get a great secondary jump. That'll be fouled away. Some of these hitters, like Eaton, you kind of squeeze towards the corners and give them the middle, so you don't, with a runner at second, have real good coverage. And Ramirez can walk off a pretty good lead over there. The Orioles are concerned about getting the third out and not opening up a hole for Eaton to hit into by having somebody trying to hold the runner. And that one's going to go to first. It'll be played cleanly. Parmalee will take it to the bag, and that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. The White Sox 1-0. They had a Boston RBI single in the 10th inning. The last player age 20 or younger to do that in the extra innings win, Manny Machado with the Orioles in 2013. The Nationals have already won their ball game 9-3 against the Giants and continue the streak. They have not issued more than 2 walks in their last 17 ball games. That is tied for the longest streak in the live ball era. And Atlanta won a game despite scoring 2 or fewer in the last 20 seasons. The only team to do that, 10 wins, scoring 2 or fewer before the All-Star game, the Nationals. Making the runs count.
Yep. Well, how about the Red Sox game? Tozawa did a bullpen because he didn't pitch on the road trip, and he was unavailable. So they had to bring up Noe Ramirez, who was just called up from AAA Pawtucket. He ended up giving up, 4 or 5 in the extra innings, and the Red Sox lose.
Bullpen management. Salaja outside.
Not available? I mean, what kind of bullpen would you do that if you're a bullpenner? Wouldn't you do a bullpen to actually get you ready, which is what they do?
Yes. As opposed to expending
it. Starter?
I don't know. 1-1 delivery on the way, and the slider's going to miss outside. The Orioles, J.J. Hardy, Snyder, and then Flaherty. 1 for 3 in the ball game last night for J.J. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Samaja, 30 years old. High heater. Speaking of the Red Sox, they've lost 7 of the last 9 games they've played at Fenway Park. And their starters during that stretch have an ERA of 7.61. Team that's noted for all those wins at Fenway over the years. Hardy will take it, and he's gone and knew it.
Yeah. I think he had to be looking for something else. And again, Samardzija has good stuff. I mean, that's pretty much right down the middle of the plate. Big guy, hides the ball, does turn his shoulder, does get him in trouble from time to time, but I would imagine 6'5", 230-ish, flowing locks, might be hard to pick the ball up.
Snyder gets the shot, 2 for 11, lifetime off Samardzija, and he will take the pitch for a strike. Samardzija's worked the 6 most innings in the American League coming in, a workhorse, 4.56 ERA. Snyder, a roller, turned over on that one, but it'll be a foul ball. Got a little bit of Soto on the backswing on that one, the catcher.
Yeah, I was looking at his numbers. I mean, 16 starts, 108 and 2/3 innings, so that's almost up there, 7 plus. There's his pitching coach. And of course, this is a free agent year unless they re-sign him, and so he wants to make a statement.
0-2 delivery, that's fouled right straight back. Snyder in this ballpark has had great career numbers. He's a .387 hitter here at U.S. Cellular Field this season. In the games played against the White Sox, a couple of hits in 6 at bats.
How about that? Head in the count, almost 300 points higher.
Little movement inside and misses. Now the Orioles weighing on them. Not to be the fact these scoreless innings continue to pile up at 22 now. 21, sorry. Pitch on the way, and Snyder goes down swinging.
Yeah, that's really, 95 up and in.
3 strikeouts in a row.
Yeah, but it doesn't really get a whole lot better than this. Velocity, location, movement. Trying to catch up, couldn't.
So that'll bring up Ryan Flaherty. Flaherty with an 0 for 3 in the ball game last night. Has not faced Samardzija before. And go after it and foul it back.
Well, he's got some payback. That game when we did the game in where the first 2 were postponed because of civil unrest, and they light him up for 6 in the first inning. He's a much better pitcher than that.
Another one foul away.
And Gary, you get on rolls like this, and it's not that you ever take a team. You don't give them the credit that they deserve, because you look at the numbers for the Orioles, they can hit a little bit, but you just go do your thing, and until they do something to jolt that thinking,
keep on doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Boy, he strikes the side out 4 Ks in a row, going to the bottom of the 3rd. Independence Day is being brought to you by DynCorp International. We serve today for a better tomorrow. And by Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years. And we air today's game here in Masson, celebrating Independence Day. America celebrating its 239th birthday. Great crowd on hand here on this baseball day with the red, white, and blue flying high. Yeah, the wind's got it going from left to right here for our ball game this afternoon. 1-0 lead, bottom half of the third inning. RBI base hit. Garcia, first inning, bringing home Abreu, who had doubled. There's the run on the board.
Well, you think of all the big contracts that they have given players out of Cuba. And Abreu got one of those, $68 million. I mean, last year, what, he hits over 300, 318, hits 36 home runs. Looks like they're going to get their money worth.
Yeah, sure does.
And he's pretty good first baseman, runs everything hard, good guy. In fact, he's the same age as Rusney Castillo. The Red Sox gave $72.5 million to, and he's been up and down, now playing down at AAA Pawtucket. So it's been a good investment.
Jose Abreu will take the pitch outside, a double, scored, 6-game hit streak for him, and against the Orioles on the season, and the hits he's had have been big ones. He's only 3 for 17 this year against the Orioles. That one foul back, but a home run last night that won it, and then a double that he scored on here in this game. 1 ball, 2 strike count from Tillman.
And the wind's blowing the way his power is, which is to right center.
Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way by Tillman, and that he just got enough of to foul it back.
Yeah, you really have to make good pitches to get him out. That was a good curveball. He was still able to flick it foul. Of course, when you're pitching well, you're able to do that.
Tillman ready to go, working quickly. Pitch on the way, and that's going to be up high. Well, the Orioles may have lost a couple of ball games in a row here, but certainly not the starters' fault. The starters over the last 3 games have got a 1.27 ERA. Get their record 1-1. 2-2 delivery. Abreu will go after it and foul tipped it into the mitt. Good hold by Wieters for the strikeout.
Yeah, you're hooking them, you're throwing them up and away, and then you finally get one down. And again, the good velocity today for Chris Tillman. 2 strikes does wonders if you're pitching. Even the best guys chase a little bit.
1 away here in the bottom of the third. Cabrera picked up a base hit. His first time up. Well, Melky Cabrera continues hot against the Orioles. 7 for 17 this season. He's always been a tough out for the O's wherever he was playing. Takes the first pitch, and Tillman gets it in there for a strike. Chris on the road this season, 7 road starts, 3-3, ERA of 5.6 on the road for Tillman. Chris has had some enormous run support of late in the games the Orioles have won in his starts. 1-1 delivery and a check swing foul ball. LaRoche in the on deck circle had that one go whizzing by.
I mean, for the years, it's incredibly high. It's almost 7 runs a game, 6.81.
For the last 5 starts, the Orioles have averaged 10.2 runs a game. He is 4-0 in those 5 games with a 5.13 ERA. That one right at Tillman. That hit him and goes into center field. Hopefully that caught the glove. He looks like he's all right. I mean, appeared to be right at the midsection, perhaps where he had followed through and had the glove.
Sometimes, right somewhere in there, and you can see you're so close to home plate. This is a bullet. Might have been able to get some of the leather on it. Doesn't seem to be. I mean, this will be your boom up and away. You don't figure he's going to pull it back up the middle.
Looked like he does on the hip.
Yeah.
Matt Wieters went out to check. Said he's all right. So Cabrera is 2 for 2 in the ball game. Melky Cabrera on at first base, 1 down. LaRoche popped out his first time up. Hit number 5. The White Sox shift on. Throw over with a lead extended about as far as Cabrera can go on that dive back.
Yeah, he has yet to attempt to steal. But it is a new month. We're into July. And Ramirez, who does run, got a huge
lead and stole one.
Yeah. Well, it was
the most unusual.
It was uncontested, but not on purpose.
Tillman still had the ball, and Ramirez was halfway to second base. 1-0 count, 1 away. That ball in the air the other way. Long run. Snyder was playing over to center near the line, and it'll be a foul ball. They are playing him to hit towards right, so Snyder had a long way to go.
Yeah, there are some times, and that wasn't one of them, obviously, because the ball went foul, and the wind blowing back, so any ball that you think might slice foul has a chance to maybe get blown back into the field of play. And when that happens, and you just know it, you're figuring out which base do I need to back up. So it's getting a little bit cooler. So it's very pleasant.
Very nice. Yeah, it is.
It was a little bit warmer early, and now the wind looks like it's shifted a little bit.
And LaRoche will take it inside. Every Chicago weather forecast ends with the same 4 words: cooler by the lake. And it is always. 2 ball, 1 strike count. We're close to the lake. Only 1 away. Pretty good lead, Cabrera. Again the other way, and again foul. So LaRoche battling on Tillman, who's thrown 52 pitches, so the Orioles are already, Buck Showalter and company, having to think about, all right, what are we going to do with this bullpen? You have to think that. You hope Tillman settles in and goes, but at 52 pitches in the 3rd inning, looks like the bullpen may be actively engaged in this game sooner than later.
Yeah, normal inning. A little higher this year because of some of the games against Toronto and whatever, but it's around 16, and the reason is he's a fly ball pitcher. Not a lot of early counts, getting the ground ball.
Cabrera keeps wandering off. Pitch will be taken inside, trying to disrupt Tillman, and the count is full, 3-2.
And then the other thing, and we saw this a little bit last night, and the game was 1-0, is that every pitch, when you're not getting a lot of runs, it just has so much importance.
See if he goes. He does. 3-2 ground ball right where he'd been playing. Cabrera goes to third, LaRoche to first on the perfect hit and run. If you do not send the runner, that ball will be cleanly fielded.
Yeah, so Cabrera doesn't steal a base, but they start him. And and they start him mainly because what they're figuring is somebody's going to have to cover. And after 2 games, and that's why it's hard to believe that this pitching staff has such a low ERA here at 3 1/4 runs. This is one fast infield. If the ground ball is not at one of the infielders, it's almost like playing on turf.
So again, the White Sox get the opportunity, 1st and 3rd, as they did in the 1st inning with 1 down. And Garcia picked up an RBI base hit in the 1st inning in this situation. 6 hits now for the White Sox. Sweeters, good scoop, and make sure the runners stay where they are.
Yeah, so many things that you try to control in this game. If you don't go 3-2, they're not running. Right here, nice play by Matt Wieters, a little back end. Robin Ventura, though, even though Cabrera doesn't run, he starts him. Even though LaRoche strikes out a lot, Tillman doesn't strike him out. He puts the ball in play, and they get exactly what they want. 1st and 3rd.
Pitch on the way to him, swing and a miss, good one. Worked it down and in to Garcia.
I always felt when Chris Tillman's at his best, I mean, last year 20 out of 21 games, 3 runs or less, he could go for a strikeout and there was a good chance he might get it. And these are one of those situations. Pop him up. A lot of times young hitters, and Garcia's only 24. Maybe he'll chase a little bit.
Garcia waiting on it, reaches, and able to get a bat on it, fouls it away.
And now just run right underneath his hands and try to strike him out. Count allows you to do that.
White Sox already 2 for 5 with the runners in scoring position here in the ball game. Infield, of course, a double play depth with one away. Garcia with a 1-2 count. Tillman's delivery, that's going to go to second. Flaherty's got it. Hardy one, relay over to first, and they get the double play. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. 4 have been stranded already by Chicago. Major league players served during World War II. Williams, Musial, DiMaggio, some of the bigger names, Yogi Berra. Little attention has been paid to the 2 who died. They had very short careers at the majors before going off to World War II. Elmer Gideon and Harry O'Neill were their names. For many of those who went, they played baseball while they were also serving in World War II. This famous picture, Army Air Force Sergeant Joe DiMaggio, you see on the far left, and Navy Chief Specialist Pee Wee Reese in the white uniform to the right, signing autographs while they were in the service. That's from July 7 of 1944.
And then, of course, the great right-handed pitcher Bob Feller in the Navy, 4 years.
And a lot of military personnel on hand here at U.S. Cellular in Chicago. Purple Heart recipient recognized during the ball game between innings. 0-1 pitch, and that'll be taken outside. Yep, it's always the long-standing issue. It's a bit ironic. We talk about in this day and age, what would hitters have or pitchers have done? What would their records be but for steroids or other performance-enhancing drugs? On the diminutive side, trying to reduce the number to what they might have been. While for those players, it's what would they have done had they not missed 3-4 years of Major League Baseball in their prime.
Yeah, Feller, I think, might have won a few less games than me. He probably would have won 100 more if he had gotten to play.
Put up in the air to left field, and that will be handled by Cabrera.
Well, you got to see and take a look at the numbers home and on road, and ERA actually on the road. I mean, home. I mean, that's an incredible ERA at Camden Yards because it's a hitter-friendly ballpark. So the road average down, runner in scoring position, about as good as it gets at home. Still the best at baseball, and here's your 1.3 run difference.
That's our Jeep inside the numbers.
So they score as many, and of course that doesn't add the unearned runs, so you might give up a few more runs on the road than you score, and that's how you get 6 games under 500.
Brady's up.
Yeah, you could see the way the wind affected the ball in left field. And that was a high fly ball, but it knocked it down.
It's got to go to right in the air if you're going to try and knock one out, or you're really going to have to punch one to go to left field. Brady's trying to do that to right, and a swing and a miss. Samaja now has faced the minimum number through the first 3 and a third innings. He had 4 straight strikeouts before that fly ball by Manny Machado. So 4 fly ball outs, a ground ball out, which was a double play. And he's walked only 1 with the 4 Ks. And Oriole hitters look like they're really struggling trying to find a pace on Samaja.
Well, 4 different pitches, 4 or 5. And throwing them for strikes, a lot of movement. Chris Paredes came in hitting .330 on the road.
Paredes with an 0 for 4 lifetime off Samaja. And the fastball will be up high at 95. 2 ball, 2 strike count. For the White Sox, a run on 6 hits. The Orioles, 0s. Their only base runner, leadoff walk to Machado. He was taken out on the Jones ground ball double play. 2-2 delivery, the other way foul.
Oh, he can go right up the velocity ladder. 95, that one 96.
Two ball, 2 strike count. Infield plays him to pull. That'll be in the dirt. Bounces away.
And right through the legs of Giovanni Soto, and good splitter that stayed out of the zone.
Orioles still looking for an extra base hit. Back-to-back games, no extra base hit. First time this season. The last 12 hits they've had have all been singles. 3-2 delivery on the way, and another strikeout. 5 for Samaja.
Well, Buck Showalter talking before the game, he said, you know, probably around 50% of the pitches, and we talk about it all the time, are fastballs. So that's a little change up, little splitters. And what do they throw in batting practice? Fastballs. You're almost, I think as part of your payroll, you ought to get some guys that are maybe really never going to make it to the big leagues. You have to convince them that, and those be your B guys that can throw sliders and splitters and. I mean, seriously.
I agree.
I mean, that's.
Don't tell hitters that in batting practice, though, right? Well, 2 down and a strike.
But Buck's point, and of course it's coming off a 1-0 loss, or actually 2 games where they didn't score, is saying we're just not simulating what we're going to try to do during the game. And it's a good point.
0-1 delivery on the way. Jones didn't kick it. Sanchez, long throw. Nice play. As Robin Ventura said last night, right now I'm going over D over offense at second, and that's what he gets. The run on 6 hits through 3. Samaja has given up nothing through 4. And Avisail Garcia RBI single for the lone run. It's the ball game.
Yep. That it is.
Good crowd on Andier at U.S. Cellular. Had a good crowd last night. Fireworks night, 27,300 plus. Great day for baseball. Fireworks will be down by the pier here in Chicago tonight, along with the second of 3 final concerts by the Grateful Dead, where they packed them in last night and will for 3 nights in a row. Tillman goes back to work here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Gillespie, Ramirez, and Soto, 6, 7, 8. Goes after the first pitch that kind of skimmed the plate, flied out the first time up.
Are you going to the concert tonight, man? Right for that?
Yes.
Okay. Somebody was saying that's a good way to cleanse your soul and know your aura. So you'll probably be a different man tomorrow. Right?
Have a good time doing the game tomorrow. Lord. Here's the 0-1 delivery, and that one in the air to left field towards the gap. Snyder not going to get it. It'll take a hop. On to second base, Gillespie, and the leadoff man is on for the second time in 4 innings, a double.
Yeah, and not only is he on, he's on second. Boy, these kill you when you're not getting a lot of runs, which is the case today. And I think you're going to make your pitch. We didn't think maybe the line drive carries a little bit more. Fastball up. Connor Gillespie puts a nice swing on it. Travis Snyder can't haul it in.
Well, the White Sox are really getting their chances here in this ball game. They've only scored 1 run. They've got 7 hits. They've left 4 on base through the first 3 innings, and 3 of those have been in scoring position. Now they got another one out there. Ramirez, base hit his first time up. Tillman backs off, so Ramirez will step up.
Well, let's see how they play it. Of course, the base hit was off the end of the bat to right. He'd love to do that now. Advance the runner. Maybe get him in.
2 for 6. Runners in scoring position. White Sox so far. Ramirez goes to the hole right where Hardy was playing. He holds the runner and gets the out. So 1 away, and Gillespie's got to stay at second base. Still time to get on board for the drama of the second half of the season. Save on ticket prices. The 15 Birdland Summer 6-pack. Choose any 6 remaining games. Enjoy savings up to 20% off the cost of single game tickets. And you build the plan based on the dates you want the most. Go to Orioles.com/6-pack or 888-848-BIRD.
He didn't even make any effort to hit the ball the other way.
No.
First pitch to the left side. Didn't advance the runner. Didn't get him in.
The unproductive out.
Yep.
Pitch taken inside by Soto. Soto flied out to right field his first time up. Soto is another one of the hot bats in the lineup. 281 over the last 13 games he's been involved in, including 2 home runs. 1-0 pitch by Tillman to him. Will miss down low. And 2-0. Gillespie, pretty good lead off second base. Down low, nice stop made by Wieters to hold the runner.
Yeah, that would have gotten him over. Down goes to 3-0 though. Yeah, Soto across the town in Wrigleyville had a couple of nice years back in 2010 and 11. Last year with Texas.
Highly touted catcher.
Yeah, do you think he's hitting here 3-0?
No,
that wouldn't matter anyway.
So Tillman surrenders his first walk. It does create the opportunity, of course, for the double play. And happy Independence Day to all Orioles fans, and never miss a game update, behind the scenes moment, or exclusive contest. Follow Masson Orioles on Twitter for all the latest Orioles buzz. Again, that's Masson Orioles on Twitter. 1 away, runners at first and second here in the 4th inning. Sanchez flied out to center field his first time up. Orioles double play in the infield. He'll take the first pitch. It is in there for a strike. Chris Tillman trying to get back to 500. Record of 6-7. He's not been at 500 since April 23. Win today would get him there. Right now trailing 1-0. 0-1 pitch on the way in the dirt. Gets away. Runner's going to go, and they will both advance.
Yeah. Really good base running. I mean, good anticipation. I listened to one of the games we got home. Doug Glanville was talking about it. If you're a good base runner, you can follow the ball towards home plate. And when you see this curveball right there, I mean, you're going. Because there's no way that Matt Wieters, especially if you're a single runner, is going to be able to catch it, come up, and make the throw. It's almost virtually impossible.
Third wild pitch by Tillman forces the infield in. So all that might have been gained by that walk to Soto is lost here. 2 are in scoring position. Outfield in a couple of steps on Sanchez as well. And he'll take the pitch outside. Tillman falls behind on him, 2-1.
Yeah, it's almost like they told Sanchez, don't be swinging at that high stuff. So he took the first pitch, and then curveball bounced, changeup missed. And now if you're Chris Tillman, still want to make a good pitch, but you got to throw a strike in.
And he will pop it up. Manny Machado will not have a play, 3 or 4 rows back. So Tillman gets the strike, evens the count up, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Sanchez. Now here's a big moment in a ball game. We talk about those moments that come along in games where for both teams what happens here can really matter. In the 4th inning with a 1-0 lead and 2 in scoring position, the White Sox chance to add to their lead.
And of course you still have a couple of pitches if you're Chris Tillman to say, okay, how do I strike him out? I mean, got a young hitter. You have a real good curveball that's your strikeout pitch. Even though you bounced it, you take your chances. I don't know if they'll score on that same wild pitch, but you're looking to strike him out here.
2 ball, 2 strike count. Infield in. Sanchez swings and fouls it off.
And there was the hook, and it was a good one. Yeah, you're hoping that he'll actually get out on his front foot, which I think he does, and just able to nick it.
Sanchez just turned 23 years old last season with the White Sox, first major league experience, played in 28 games, hit .250. 2-2. Runners off, second and third. And Sanchez will fight it off for another.
So curveball, cutter. He's got him set up and in, but for Chris Tillman, he's more comfortable to lefties away.
Already his 7th professional season. Another one of those free agents signed from Venezuela. So he got started early in professional baseball. Sanchez off the end, back into the seats again.
So the kitchen sink right here. Changeups, curveballs, sliders, anything to try to keep them from scoring another run.
Sanchez really doing battle. Area base runners. This will be the 8th pitch of this at bat to the number 9 hitter. Tillman, the 2-2. Sanchez, add another. Riding a lot of souvenirs. I was looking at the baseball last night. We had a little bit of a controversy. Buck Showalter says the balls here in Chicago are darker than in any other ballpark. I mean, they're rubbed up. There's more mud on them. And the umpires are throwing out a lot of baseballs last night, trying to find some that were appropriate.
Somewhat white?
Yes. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and that's going to be inside. Tough take and a good pitch, 3-2. And had some late movement on it.
Yeah, Bucks has that ball from Japan that already is made with a little bit of a tacky substance, so you don't actually, the ball would be white. Maybe help the hitter a little bit. Offense down.
3-2, and he gets the K. So Tillman wins the battle, and not an easy one. Second out.
Well, he tried everything, and he eventually goes back to his strength, which is up and away to lefties. And good fastball right on the outside corner. You know, Sanchez wants to make contact. He's fouled off curveballs, cutters, changeups, and swings through the fastball.
So now Adam Eaton. 2 on and 2 down here in the 4th inning. Eaton has grounded out twice. He will take the pitch, and it's in there for a strike.
Yeah, really good changeup. And you know, you got Eaton, and right on deck, he's hit 200 with runners in scoring position, and then you have their best hitter, Abreu, at 364.
Tillman trying to shut the inning down right here. White Sox problem all year long. Get him on, can't get him in. 0-1 delivery. Turned that elbow in, almost caught him. It will miss in a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Orioles have left the second fewest amount of runners on base. Orioles have been exactly the opposite. Get them on and get them in. Foul back over the screen, and Tillman's ahead of ball and 2 strikes. With Tillman a chance to get out of this. You got to believe at some point this catches up to the White Sox. I mean, they did it last night. 0 for 4 runners in scoring position. They left 6 on base, as did the Orioles. They're already ahead of that here in this game with scoring chances and just not getting it done. And Eaton will tip it foul.
Right out of the glove again. Yeah, the only way you avoid that really coming back and haunting you is the fact if your starters pitch as well as we talked about. A little bit over a run and a half last 9 games. Yeah, the other thing, the White Sox, they get one of the lowest on base percentage. I mean, they're under 30%. 295 coming in as a team.
So when you get them on, you really need to score. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Tillman's delivery, and he gets through the inning, and Eaton slams the bat down, and the White Sox will leave 2 in scoring position. They still lead it 1-0. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Gary Thorne and Jim Palmer here in Chicago for the middle game of this 3-game set. We'll be back with you another day game tomorrow. It'll be Miguel Gonzalez going against Carlos Rondon, who's 3-1 with the White Sox. Be on the air at 1:30 O's Extra and 2 o'clock for the ball game. The Orioles hope it will be a rubber match in this series.
Well, there are the pitch counts. So anytime you get into the middle innings with a no-hitter, what Samardzija has, start thinking, okay, is he able to throw the required pitches and maintain it? And that number tells you he is.
He will face Davis, Wieters, and Parmelee. Davis, a ground ball out.
Yeah, it's not like Samardzija can't low hit you at back-to-back games. You go back to middle of May at Oakland, and then here against Minnesota, 3-hitter, 2-hitter, 8 innings.
30 years old, and kind of the numbers just don't match what you see sometimes. He's only 41-52 in his career, and to watch him pitch, you would think he would be much better than that, above 500. Davis on a swing and a miss, the ball breaking down and away.
Well, he's the poster boy for run support. You don't win at this level by yourself. Yes, you can control some of that. It's not the good old days where you could win 1-0, 2-1. It doesn't happen very often, at least not individually. And if you get into that type of game, the chances are that you're probably going to get a no decision, and he is the king of no decisions. I mean, he's tied for 5th. He's got 7 of those.
16 starts, 5-4 record.
and then tied for 4th since 2012 with Zach Greinke for 38 of them.
Davis fouls that one right straight back. So Elijah's name's also one of those on the potential trading block list for the White Sox should they decide to move players. Toronto has expressed a real interest in Samaja, and the White Sox have not said no. They're not going to say no to anything at this point. You just wait and see where they are deeper into July.
Well, that's what the Cubs did last year when he went to the A's. Now he pitched well out there, but he was still under 500 at 5-6. But they got him 5 runs a game. Now with the Cubs, so that's how you end up 7-13. So that is a trading chip at some point.
Yep. 2 ball, 2 strike delivery to Chris, and a ground ball again to first base. LaRoche, 2 in a row. Down to first, 1 down. Well, the Orioles are going to return home Friday when a fan favorite promotion returns to the ballpark. First 20,000 fans 21 and over at the Nationals game get the Orioles plaid floppy hat presented by Miller Lite. You can add to your Birdland summer wardrobe with this great collectible. So tickets are going fast. Get yours at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Matt Wieters popped out his first time up, 0 for his last 12. Wieters' pitch will be taken outside for a ball. Play Ramirez almost behind second base, but don't put the shift on against Matt.
It's kind of a conventional old-time defense.
Yep.
Shortstop 3-4 steps up the middle.
1-0 delivery on the way, grounded down to first. That will be a foul ball.
Oh, he's got a good split-fingered fastball. So then you couple that, an occasional slider, the tilt when you're 6'5", as long as you stay on top of the ball, easy to get it go down, and then he's throwing anywhere from 92 to 96.
On the way, and again fouled away. Talking about shifts, I saw a note the other day, kind of surprised me. The team that has the fewest shifts in Major League Baseball is the St. Louis Cardinals. The #1 record in great pitching, but they don't shift a whole lot at all. 1 ball, 2 strike count, and that's way outside. Got away from Samaja.
Yeah, I think you could shift with fastball command without going to the extremes that you do, and well, maybe they gotten away from using your fastball, but you can take a big field like this where fastball command can size it. So you don't have to overshift. You can just play your tendencies. Perfect pitch. Well, you know, Soto's another guy. We talked about Tyler Flowers last night. Give it John Danks. Great science. Check this one out right here. Look at where the glove is. And then he throws it right there. I mean, it gives him an early target. Hit the glove, and he does. With 96. One of those days, if you talked about a guy, you'd go, well, yeah, he's got no-hit stuff today. Been that good. And then the Orioles aren't hitting. Pretty good combination to not to give up a lot of.
Chris Parmelee takes the pitch down low for a ball. Samaja hoping he might get that call as he bounced up and down on the mound.
Yeah, because Chris Conroy doing the umpiring, and thought that breaking ball down the middle might have been called a strike.
Parmelee struck out his first time up, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts for Samaja. The only base runner was the leadoff batter of the ball game. Manny Machado drew a walk taken out on the double play. That's the only base runner the Orioles have had against Samaja. 2-0 count. Chris Parmelee getting the start at first base. His 8th start there. Chris Davis now regularly out in right field. And that pitch will be taken up high for a ball. And he falls behind for the first time in the ball game, 3-0 to a hitter. Frio pitch, swinging at it. Parmelee trying to pick up a fastball down the middle from Samaja. Didn't get it.
Well, it's probably a good thing he didn't, because it wasn't down the middle.
No.
It was low and away. He's a better low ball hitter, so I'll give him some credit. But when you're struggling for runs, wind blowing out that way.
Parmelee in the air, center field. Eaton's there. He's got it. 24 consecutive innings without a run for the Orioles. Cutie for July 4 here in Chicago. And the White Sox with a 1-0 lead. No fireworks offensively for either team so far. Garcia, the RBI single in the first inning. Only run up on the board. The White Sox got only one last night. Home run by Abreu leading off the third. It was enough. They bat here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. And the slider will be taken away for a ball. Abreu, the ever dangerous, able to pick up the home runs and RBIs, leading the ball club 14 and 44 respectively. And a swing and a miss and another great pitch to fool them.
Yeah, just can't be in the middle of the plate, or that's the danger zone.
Tillman with a shift on behind him in the infield. 1-1 delivery inside.
Yeah, you called him Baby Bull last night, and that was, you alluded to, and that was the nickname that Orlando Cepeda had. And they were similar hitters, both power. Of course, Orlando in the Hall of Fame, both could hit the ball out of the ballpark anywhere.
Tillman will miss down low and fall behind 3-1.
Yeah, these are about 85 of the toughest pitches when you're not getting any runs. And he has pitched his way in and out of trouble very well today.
Tillman continuing a good run. Foul back. Abreu trying to drive one deep. And the count goes to 3-2. Here at home, Abreu has an 11-game hit streak now with that double he picked up in the first inning. That's in home games. He is hitting over 360 during that 10-game span at home. So this ballpark has been to his liking of late. 3-2. And Abreu the other way foul. White Sox don't score many overall, and being home or on the road doesn't seem to matter. They've scored only 3.2 runs per ball game at home. That is the third lowest since 1914 for the White Sox. Ball put up in the air to right center field. Jones going. That's where the wind is blowing. Back on the warning track. And it comes off the top of the wall. Abreu on his way to second base. He's going to try for three. The relay throw misses its man. All the way through. He's got a triple.
Yeah, there goes your wind-blown fly ball. And the other factor, Chris Davis doesn't play a lot of right field, because if he gets there a little bit quicker, he's going to be able to hold it to a double. It's not that he could have caught it, because he couldn't. I mean, Adam Jones couldn't get to it, but now you're going to see a while before he comes into the picture. If he's behind him, and again, the ball hit that high and the wind takes it, maybe would have gotten it a little bit quicker, and Abreu would have said, I'm not going to get thrown out at third.
Another scoring chance for the White Sox. They are 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position. A leadoff triple this time, and here's Cabrera, 2 singles. And Cabrera fouls it back. Infield again is drawn in. Not way in, but in.
And Gillespie leads off the 4th with a double. Unable to score. A little bit different at third.
3 innings. Leadoff man on for the White Sox. That's fouled away. Manny Machado over. And will not have a play. It's been a problem for Tillman this year, which he did not have last year, and that's leadoff batters getting on. He's only retired 51% of leadoff batters this season. Very low. You want to be up around 70. Cabrera with the 2 base hits. Trying to get a run in. 0-2 delivery. He'll be way outside, set up to go that way.
Now, this would be one of those games if Chris can somehow get out of this inning. About 5 innings. The pitch limit's going to be usually where it is. A really tough game because of the offensive pressure they put on Chris.
And a ground ball foul. You really do get the feeling the White Sox know what they're doing or not doing in getting runners in. You can almost see the sawdust coming out of some of these bats. White Sox are pressing when they get a chance with a runner in scoring position. They know how important these runs are because they score so few. 1-2 pitch by Tillman. That one's going to be looped in the air. That's going to get a run in. Snyder, the catch. Throw will come all the way through, but nowhere near in time. Sac fly by Cabrera, and a 2-0 White Sox lead.
They may come to their feet here. That was a good change up, down, and away, and all he had to do was what you try to do with a runner in third, less than 2 outs. This time with nobody out is put it in the air somewhere. And, I mean, look at him go down. That's why a big difference between being at third base and second base, and again the sacrifice fly to make it 2-0.
That'll be the 29th RBI on the season for Cabrera. Here's LaRoche, and that'll be bounced. The Orioles have a new arm up in the bullpen. Not new in name, not new to the team, but new to the bullpen. LaRoche, a base hit, popped out. Bud Norris is warming up. Tillman's delivery. Buck Showalter said before the game today, it'll be Chen working game 1 in Minnesota. Gosman will work game 2, and Jimenez will work game 3. That puts Bud Norris in the pen. 1-1 delivery on the way, and that one is going to miss. 2-1. Norris has struggled. Says not feeling particularly well, running a minor fever, which has come and gone over the last 3 weeks or so, but well enough to be in the bullpen and warming up and available.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity for him if he's not going to start. They made that decision. Happened to me in 1982. A neck problem, wasn't pitching well. He banished me to the bullpen.
3-1 deliveries, a base hit to center field, and Tillman is running out of gas.
Yeah, I mean, even the good pitches, it's just been that type of game. He's pitched well. So Mars has got a no-hitter. He's pitched better. Same thing with Danks and Jimenez. But I got banished to the bullpen, and Earl Weaver 4 times in about 10 days got me in there. I got a chance to start again. Went 12-1 over the next 13 decisions. So you just never know. And he's going to get a chance to pitch. You never have enough pitching. You may not embrace what's going on, but
no, he won't. No. Here is Avisail Garcia, runner on at first base, 1 away. Garcia trying to lift one. That one caught Wieters.
Now for Chris, you're just going to try to throw a ground ball, hope you get something and get out of the inning. Right off the mask.
The ball can take angles that you couldn't with your hand get it to do. Kind of went up underneath the top of that mask where the eyes are. 0-1 count of Garcia. Still 1 away. And Garcia will go the other way with a foul ball. Garcia's got an RBI base hit, and he is hit into a double play. Garcia now with 30 runs batted in on the year. Abreu way out in front of any other member of the White Sox team in both home runs and RBIs. And he has scored both of the runs in this ball game. That's 46 runs scored by Abreu, and that too #1 for Chicago. Tillman with the 0-2 delivery. Garcia goes after heat and doesn't get it. Tillman rears back on him at 95.
Yeah, he's had a good fastball. Pitch count now an even 100. Yeah, hit this. He doesn't.
That'll bring Gillespie to the plate. The infield will shift. Connor Gillespie, a double, stranded in the 4th inning. 1 for 2 in the ball game, and 1 for 4 in these 2 games. 2 down, runner at first base. Gillespie goes after the first one and does not catch up to it. Short lead at first. Fastball misses inside to him. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Gillespie about to celebrate his 28th birthday. He'll be coming up the end of July. Been with the Giants, White Sox over the last 3 years. Good major league average. Everyday ball player at 262 coming into the season. That one is going to be a base hit off the glove into center field. Jones will back it up.
Yeah,
so the Orioles had the shift on, and he went the other way.
Yeah, good pitch. Jams him. Gets the ball in on his fist, and bad result.
And that's it for Tillman. That base hit, but Showalter came charging out of the dugout and made the motion to the bullpen immediately. So Tillman will come out of the game. He's not going to get to 500 in this one, as he will surrender the 2 runs responsible for 2 on.
At 7-7, really pitched out of trouble on a lot of occasions. They end up getting 10 hits, had good stuff, did a nice job, got some big outs when he needed them. These couple of runs with a couple of runs on base now as Bud Norris comes in. Those runners will be Chris Tillman's responsibility. So Bud Norris came over to the Orioles in 2013. He was in 11 games. And 9 of those were starts, but 2 times he did pitch out of the bullpen. One of those was extra innings in Arizona. So coming off a game where he gave up 4 home runs, that was in Baltimore against the Rangers, and the 2 games before that he actually pitched pretty well. There was tough spin there, command and maybe pitch selection. So he gets to pitch to Matt Weeder today. That'll make him happy.
And Ramirez will come to the plate. 2 on, 2 down. Ramirez a base hit, and he is grounded out. Norris trying to get out of the inning right here. Ramirez will take the pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Ramirez with a 3 for 9 against Bud Norris. Norris in that game against Texas, that was on the 29th, gave up 5 runs in 6 innings in an 8-1 Orioles loss. 0-1 pitch will be outside. Season numbers for Bud.
So not the Bud Norris that we know from last year, 15-game winner, which was the best year he's ever had. Incredibly low runner in scoring position number, which he'd like to maintain. 173 last year.
And Ramirez chases one down and in the dirt. And Norris will get ahead of him, a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, you just never know in this game. And if he does come in, and he's certainly capable of pitching well, he comes in, he pitches well. The Orioles actually maybe get to Jeff Samardzija, which they haven't been able to do, and all of a sudden you find yourself winning a game.
And Ramirez will lay off that pitch, but trying to get him to go at it again. Runners at first and second here in the 5th inning. A run in on the RBI sac fly by Cabrera after Abreu started the inning out with a triple. 2 runs on 10 hits for the White Sox. And a 2-0 lead, but just a 2-0 lead. Ramirez waiting, and that's another one he won't go after. So Ramirez showing a little patience on the last 2. Count goes 3-2. The runners will be going. And this is the big pitch. Norris ready. Runners go, and that'll be put over in the air to right field. Davis will find it, and he will make the catch. So Norris comes on, and the 2 remain stranded. A run in on 3 hits, 2 left on base. It is a 2-0 White Sox lead.
The middle, Flaherty can't handle it. Abreu will make it 1-0. And then some good defense right there. A little double play as the Orioles defense does the work. Samardzija trying to win his 6th game. A lot of strikeouts, hasn't given up a hit through the first 5. So that is your Geico game highlights. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
First pitch will be taken down and away as the Orioles try and get a number on the board. Hardy, a strikeout victim, first time up. Samardzija struck the side out in that 3rd inning. Hardy, Snyder, Flaherty. He has faced the minimum. For J.J. Hardy, now 2 for 6, lifetime off Jeff Samardzija. 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. Outside corner strike call.
Yeah, J.J. kind of really looks at that outside corner. First one looked like it had the corner. This one well off the plate. And all you have to do is look at Soto's glove. Anytime it moves maybe 2-3 inches over, trying to bring it into the zone very late.
1-2 delivery by the right-hander. That's going to be a ground ball to short. Ramirez scooped by LaRoche. Nice play. 1 down. Our PNC minor league report. Terry Doyle.
Yeah, he's been around, and they got him out of the Atlanta organization, so it's a nice little number right there. 9 innings, a couple of hits, 8 strikeouts. So he's pitched out of the bullpen. He's been a starter. And now pitching at a Double-A Bowie and doing it well. 8-1.
Snyder, a strikeout victim, and that one will skip away. One 0 count at 1 down. Jeff Samardzija's 1-0 delivery will be in the air to left field. Cabrera. Fans just getting into it a little now. 2 down. There you see Jonathan Scope. Scope probably is going to be activated when Nolan Rimo goes on leave for the birth of he and his wife's next child, which could be tomorrow, next day, tonight. We don't know.
I think they're going to induce it on Monday, so left-hander tomorrow. He may stay for that and go back to Baltimore.
Scope is ready. It's just about the roster move. Here's Flaherty, and there's the Orioles' first hit. Ryan Flaherty with 2 down in the 6th inning gets a single up the middle, and Samardzija's no-hitter goes by the wayside.
Yeah, we talked about how quick the infield is. Everybody's going to get there to feet. Well, not everybody, but most everybody. White Sox fans. I saw Ryan Flaherty says, "Wow, I just bounded up the middle, rock hard infield, and no way that Sanchez at second could get to it."
So Flaherty is on, and that brings a potential tying run to the plate.
Yeah, and Ryan Wells runs well enough that, again, a man can hit the ball. We've seen him hit home runs to right field, but you're going to have to really hit it to get out of here and left. And it's going to have to be on the line.
Machado, the best hitter against Samardzija in the Orioles lineup. He is 5 for 7 with 2 home runs off Samardzija in his career, which is probably why Samardzija ended up walking him to start the ball game.
Well, he got the perfect game out of the way on the first batter of the game. I mean, pitched a no-hitter in 5 2/3.
This is the home run off Samardzija.
Yeah, again, this is the game, and that's just a hanging slider. And in this ballpark, with the wind blowing today, I'm not sure, because that ball was hit pretty well. You got to hit it to left field or left center to get it out of here, even dead center, because of the wind.
Manny with a 2-0 count, and that'll send Soto out just to break the rhythm here in Samardzija after giving up that base hit to Flaherty. Now it's about protecting a 2-0 lead.
Well, now you work on the one-hitter. Kind of like giving up runs. You want to pitch a shutout till you give up a run. You give up a run, that's where you want it to be. And obviously, it doesn't always work out that way, but that's the mindset. But you're right. You need outs, and the Orioles need offense. They just string some hits together if you can.
13 consecutive singles for the Orioles since their last extra base hit. Manny Machado obviously has picked up a ton of those this season for the Orioles. The extra base hit department with the 18 doubles, a triple, 16 home runs. Comes back on him to get the strike, and the count goes to 2-1. There are 2 down.
Well, the one thing, Avisel Garcia, with the wind blown out, he is playing Manny pretty shallow in right field. So if he hits one to right field, gets it up, we've seen the ball will carry that way.
Ground ball to second base. Play will be made at first, perfectly positioned. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. White Sox are on top, 2-0. for a better tomorrow. And by Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years. Happy 4th of July to all of our viewers, and a special thanks to our United States Armed Forces protecting and defending every day. Harry Thorne, Jim Palmer celebrating the 4th with you here in Chicago. The White Sox 2-10-0, the Orioles 0-1-0. The White Sox trying to make it 4 in a row if they could pick up a victory in this ball game.
Yeah, their longest win streak was back all the way back in May, where they won 6, and then the biggest downfall was an 8-game losing streak in the month of June.
Well, Bud Norris stays on the mound for the Orioles, and a swing he couldn't help himself with on that one. Wanted to hold up but couldn't. Soto has drawn a walk and he has flied out. These two teams met on July 4, 2013 here. White Sox had a 3-2 win. Adam Dunn had a 9th inning game-ending home run in that one. That pitch is going to miss, a little bit low, maybe away, and a 1-ball 1-strike count. All kinds of day games being played today. Ironically, Cubs are playing tonight. That Wrigley ball lifted in the air to center. Adam Jones will get back on it, shy of the warning track. Soto is retired. Take a look at our Major League Notebook. MLB fireworks during World War I was observed in Great Britain for the first time, and they played a baseball game at the Chelsea football grounds, for soccer of course, between the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Army. The King and Queen were in attendance along with 18,000. The Navy won that game by a score of 2-1. It was the first time Independence Day had been observed in Britain. Baseball. One down. In the 6th inning, and a 1-strike count on Carlos Sanchez. Sanchez, fly ball out, and he is struck out. Bud Norris will miss away. Count goes to 1-1.
Yeah, the luxury that you have, and they added, they played for what, about 8 days with only 6 in the bullpen, and when they designated Delman Young, they went to 7, but seems to be the 7th guy. But
foul ball.
He is fully capable of actually pitching all the way to the end of this game and saving your bullpen. So at least you'll be ready for tomorrow.
And the Orioles obviously very much in the game. The score just 2-0. They could just find a couple of hits. The White Sox, on the other hand, 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. This is the old fingernails on the chalkboard game for the White Sox. That one will be fouled back and into the screen. 1-2. White Sox have counted on their starters here in these home games of late. We've talked about how good they've been. A 1.57 earned run average for Chicago's starters over the last 9 home games. Samaja's not hurting that number. That ball gets away. Wieters couldn't find it and throws the ball away. It'll go down the right field line. Sanchez on his way to third. He'll get there easily as Chris Davis will get it back in. Wieters did not know where that ball had gone. By the time he found it, he ended up throwing right into the runner and couldn't get it down low enough.
I mean, can they move the stool down the right field line so you don't hit one of the security guys or the stool? I mean, why does, if the guy's going to sit on it, why doesn't he just actually pick it up and get out of the way? And now this kid can run, so he might have gotten to third anyway, but it certainly makes it easier. He's going to heave it down there. You can see him sitting down there down the right field line. So right here, pick it up, bad angle, tries to throw it maybe over his right shoulder, and then heaves it down into the corner, and then it hits the stool.
Wow. There's a break for the White Sox. Can they take advantage of it? Manny Machado will give chase on the Eaton pop-up, and that'll be out of play. So it'll be an error, 2-base error charged on Wieters. A wild pitch will be charged to Norris that allowed the runner to initially reach. And you end up with a runner at third and 1 down. First error committed in the ballgame. And Adam Eaton gets another chance. Eaton had a runner in scoring position in the 2nd, and he grounded out. Couple on in the 4th inning, and he struck out. Takes the pitch. Bud Norris gets it in for a strike with the infield drawn in.
Yeah, that would be kind of an interesting scoring decision. If he throws him out, it's not a wild pitch.
Just a strikeout and assist.
But I suppose you could assume that he was going to make the throw, or should have made the throw, or maybe you can't.
And got him on a called strike. Norris gets a big K.
Well, that's been a whole afternoon of big Ks with Tillman and now Norris. Like I said, he's fully capable of getting anybody out. Stuff is good. Perfect pitch. Get it right up to 95. Nicely presented. Frustrating afternoon for Adam Eaton.
Now it's Abreu. Abreu's doubled, tripled, scored 2 runs and struck out. Their DH, 6-game hit streak. 0 for 3 off Norris. Norris comes right at him and gets the strike on the 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, a lot of people always felt that Bud might be better out of the bullpen just because of what you just saw. He can get to 96. And a lot of guys that have started and then gone to the bullpen will say, you know, it's a little more spontaneous if you're a bullpen guy.
That's going to be slashed to second. Flaherty's got it. And again, the White Sox cannot find the big hit. Again, the Oriole pitchers get the big outs. Take a look at our Mazda do-ups. Brady. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
Trying to get ahead, and Ryan Flaherty says, okay, ground ball, fast infield, finds a hole. Not too many holes here in Chicago for the Orioles offense. 5 last night, talking about hits.
That breaks up the no-hitter, but Samaja came back to get Manny Machado to ground out and ended the inning.
You go back to Monday night when the Rangers came into Baltimore 1-6-4-0-0. That's the run scored. 11 runs in 5 games, and plus the 6 innings today.
Tillman's final line: 2 runs, 10 hits over 4 2/3 innings. Paredes takes it inside. 1 walk, 4 strikeouts for Tillman. Samaja's had a walk, 6 strikeouts. And is protected a 2-0 lead. And a swing and a miss and a nasty pitch inside.
Yeah, all the stuff is good. The movement on the splitter, that was a slider. Good velocity, good location. That's why he's working on a shutout.
1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way, and that's going to be a base hit towards the gap. Garcia will cut it off, and the Orioles and Paredes with a base hit get the leadoff man on here in the 7th inning. For every Orioles walk, Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield contributes $50 to the March of Dimes. 199 free passes, $9,950. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Adam Jones He is hit into a double play, grounded out. 0 for 6 in the first 2 games. Adam now 5 for his last 34 at the plate.
Well, he's at his best when he uses the whole field. And I'm going to summon last year where he hit a home run over the bullpen here to right field. The Orioles in Chicago, 3 against the White Sox. And then an off day, and then 3 against the Cubs. Well, forget the 3 against the Cubs, but the White Sox games, they swept them. But Adam deep over the bullpen, and the wind is blowing that way.
Here's the 0-1 delivery to him. Adam on an inside-out foul ball. That one came in on the handle from Samaja. Still looking for his first hit against the White Sox starter. He is 0 for 7. Now the Orioles need the blast. Need an extra base hit. Still trying to find one. The hits they've had here, 2 singles.
Well, you have a guy capable at the plate if he gets a pitch to hit, and good speed at first. Yeah.
7 strikeouts.
Well, when a guy's scuffling, and Adam certainly is, and you know he's a free swinger, this is what he'll do. Right at the letters.
That will shift the infield around now. Chris Davis coming up. He has grounded out twice to LaRoche at first base. Brady's on, and Soto's going to go out and talk to Samaja about how they're going to work Davis. Davis with Wieters waiting on deck. Chris has had 3 home runs in this ballpark in his career. He's a .273 hitter here at Cellular Field. Garcia's almost on the warning track and right. Fastball's up high.
Well, remember the home run he hit in the no fan game in Baltimore was on a splitter, and he hit it to right field and he belted it, and that's the way the wind's blowing. So he could just run the fastball on the inside half.
That ball foul back. It's as close as he's had to getting one to drive.
Yeah, they try to pitch him up, they try to pitch him in. If he throws something soft and gets it up out over the plate, that's when Chris gets to extend the arms, and that's when the real power comes into play.
Brady's off first base. Davis will take it inside.
Of course, at this juncture, when you're struggling for runs, you'll just take a single, maybe a gapper.
Smash has had a season high of 9 strikeouts, career high of 13. He's got 7 against the Orioles. 2-1 delivery on the way to Chris, and that one's fouled off at the plate.
See, the guys with the big power arms, and Jeff Samardzija has one of those, they're just going, that's what they're going to do. When in trouble, let's just, hey, Powder River, run it up in the zone, see if he can catch up. Sometimes hard to do.
2 ball, 2 strike count. Brady's back. Albert Pujols on top in the American League in home runs now with 24. Trout with 21. Martinez, Cruz all have 21. Davis with 18 is 8th coming into today's play. 2-2, 1 out. Brady's pretty good lead, not going. Davis will take it up high. And the count goes to 3-2. See the 83 pitches thrown by Samaja in this ball game. He's thrown over 100 in almost all of his starts. Up to 120.
Be interesting. I don't think, you never know. I don't think they'll start the runner.
3-2, runner not going. Davis going to get a base hit into right field. Garcia will play it back in. Paredes goes to second and stops, and the Orioles for the first time in this ball game have gotten a runner down to second base and 2 hits in an inning.
Yeah, so finally 3-2. You just can't pitch to that spot. He gets a ball. It's not up. It's pretty much up right down the middle. You can see the hands drop, able to level the bat out. And there's your first and second.
So the Orioles get an opportunity now against Samaja. The Orioles have not had a hit with a runner in scoring position in their last 14 chances. 0 for 14.
Well, there was no reason to start Paredes because with the shift on, nobody was going to be forced to cover. I mean, Ramirez was standing right behind the bag.
See if the Orioles can take advantage of it. Matt Wieters with a big cut. Matt has popped out and struck out 4 for his last 34. Soto with the signs to the infield comes out from behind the plate. There you see the numbers. The Orioles' first chance in the ball game. 2 for 12 for the White Sox. 0-1 delivery to Wieters down low. Soto squeezes that one from going through. Little bullpen movement, but nobody warming up for Chicago.
Yeah, Samardzija right about the league average with runners in scoring position number over the course of the year at 257.
Off first and second, 1-1 delivery. 1-2.
Yeah, gets to get him to chase out of the zone.
Matt here in this ballpark, not a lot of hits, only a 167 average here, but does have 3 home runs here at USAL. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Samajia's delivery. Wieters takes it up a little bit higher around the helmet that time in a 2 ball, 2 strike count. This is how the White Sox, when they win, are winning, getting these starts of late deep into the ball game. They're still not scoring many runs, but enough. We'll see if the 2 they've got holds up here. There goes the bat, and he's gone. Yeah. Wieters on a swing that time, and the bat went all the way out towards second base.
Yeah, and a little jump rope by Jeff Samardzija. Great splitter right here. Gets him way out on his front foot and watch him just jump out of the way and able to avoid being hit.
More than one way to get a starter out of a game.
Well, yeah, nothing else is working so far.
Cooper is going to come out. I don't know if they saw something here when Samajiya moved, jumped to get away from that or not. Wieters is the second out, the 8th strikeout of the ball game for the White Sox starter. Now with 2 on, 2 down, it'll be Parmelee coming up.
Well, you go back to his last start. He went into the 8th inning with a 4-0 lead, and as I mentioned, they were able to get the bases loaded. He hit Kinsler, made a bad pitch to Martinez, so maybe just okay. They know Chris Parmelee because he played for the Twins in the same division. What are we going to do? We're looking for another out. Orioles are looking for offense.
Maybe trying to draw a little time here. Their bullpen just starting to throw. That's Putnam in the bullpen. Zach Putnam, and he's only thrown, that's about the 4th warm-up toss. So maybe just want to give him a chance to get going just in case. Soto's hanging around the mound even after Chris Conroy, home plate umpire, came out to get him. So the Orioles are 2 on now with 2 down. And Parmelee, he has struck out and flied out. Orioles first baseman looking for a base hit here to get at least one of these runners in. Majia's delivery to him. Parmelee will take it up high for a ball.
Yeah, the capabilities, and we've seen Chris Parmelee in limited at bats. The ball that he really hits, a couple home runs in his first game, are down. And hopefully Samardzija might get behind him and have to throw one in that zone, and then he becomes a power hitter.
1-0 delivery to him. Parmelee will take it. It's a strike. Parmelee's done pretty well. Limited chances, 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position and 1 home run.
You see, he wanted to swing at that, but that's not his strength. So he takes it. He hopes it's called a ball, which it wasn't.
Delivery by Samajiya, and chased that one off the end of the bat foul. Samajiya gets ahead of him, 1-2. One of the 2 players the Orioles have on their roster who had the walk days where they could have chosen free agency if not called up. Reimold, Parmelee. Both have produced since the Orioles chose not to let them go. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and the dirt bounces away. The runners will advance. So a wild pitch, only the second of the season by Samaja, puts 2 in scoring position.
Yeah, boy, the last thing you want to do is wild pitch him. I mean, this is about as wild as you can pitch it. Way out in front of home plate. Soto trying to do everything he can to try to get in front of it. So now all of a sudden you don't even need an extra base hit.
Base hit here, and the ball game's tied up. Brady's on at third base. Davis on at second. And a swing and a miss. 9 strikeouts. And the Orioles leave 2 in scoring position. 7th inning stretch time, 2-0 White Sox. We extend our best wishes along as well. White Sox have a 2-0 lead. Independence Day, baseball, years gone by. How about 1925? Herb Pennock of the Yankees and Lefty Grove of the A's hooked up in a 15-inning pitcher's duel. The Bronx Bombers won it by a score of 1-0. Pennock retired the first 18 and the last 21 that he faced in the game. 1905, same kind of duel. Rube Waddell and Cy Young in a 19-inning pitcher's duel. The A's scored twice in the 20th inning for a 4-2 win. Waddell gave up 2 runs in the first, then pitched 19 scoreless innings. Young also went the distance, and Waddell came back because it was a doubleheader day. He came back in the second game of the doubleheader and got the final 2 outs of the game. Can you imagine that?
Apparently they didn't let him go home.
No.
No.
Apparently he could still walk. That's amazing. I mean, you got those guys. Pennock faced, let's see, 39 batters in that 1925 game.
Yeah, just hang around. We might need you in relief. Yeah.
All right, we're going to the bottom half of the 7th inning. A 2-0 lead with the White Sox on top. It'll be Cabrera, LaRoche, and Garcia, or Melky Cabrera. He's had a big day. He's had 2 singles and a sacrifice fly. Garcia, RBI single in the first inning, and accounted for the 2 runs. Bud Norris coming on in relief in the 5th, got the final out, and worked through the 6th without giving up a hit.
And he's actually become a reliever. Look, he's pitching from the stretch.
How about that? More comfortable?
I don't know. Maybe.
There's nobody on here, obviously.
That's what I mean. I mean, normally, when he starts, he just goes into the windup.
Going to take this role of a reliever to Hart.
He has embraced it.
And that pitch will be taken down low, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. I was looking to see, hasn't made much difference this year. Out of the stretch, hitters at 313, full windup 311 against Bud. That one down the line the other way will make its way foul into the seats.
Well, I really think, I mean, I hope he embraces, he makes a bunch of money. Yeah, he wants to start. Maybe you just never know. And, Kevin Gausman, if he's going to be in the big leagues, needs to start. So somebody had to go to the bullpen. If he was pitching well, I think you have a complaint. And he hasn't been. And I think they expressed that to him. And, the Orioles are still hanging around first place. They need Bud Norris. They need people with good arms, and he has a good arm. And you know what? You just never know. It happened to me. We almost won, lost on the last day. I actually pitched that game. And somehow, I pitched well. They played well. We got back in the pennant race all the way to the last day of the season. And that's what you want as a player.
2-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way, and a check swing foul ball. Hit it or it will hit you kind of pitch to Melky Cabrera.
Yeah, just buzzed him up and in. And
that elbow out of there. Cabrera's gone 5 for 14 lifetime against Bud Norris, who asked for an extra moment here, wanted the signs again. Pitch on the way, third base, Manny Machado.
Yeah, and that's why he's a 286 lifetime hitter. I mean, he's hitting in the 250s, up a couple points today but his approach is, he can hit home runs, but he's a line drive hitter. And watch him just rake this changeup, and then you got the platinum glover. Otherwise, it's a double.
No, Manny puts it away at third. Orioles infield will shift. LaRoche will come to the plate, 2 singles, and he has popped out in the ball game. LaRoche now against the Orioles this year, 6 hits in 16 at-bats, including a home run. Ball 1 to him as he walks across the plate, staying away from that pitch. The Oriole pitchers have done a great job holding this Chicago White Sox team down, scoring runs. They just haven't been able to score their own. That one hit right in front of the bag and went over it. Played by Parmalee. LaRoche is retired, and there are 2 away. Take a look at our upcoming schedule for the Orioles, brought to you by Mile One Automotive, offering you 20 convenient locations throughout the Baltimore area. Visit them in store or online at mileone.com. Orioles with the White Sox here again tomorrow. Then they continue on to Minnesota. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 2 night games, and then the day game, which in Minnesota time is a noontime special on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road trip in the sense, because obviously you're struggling for runs, but Minnesota, as do the White Sox, much better at home. Like the Twins, 10 games over at home, 25 and 15. Big park. Looks like they may get Irvin Santana, who was suspended for doing something that violated the drug policy.
Swing and a miss, and a good pitch by Norris, and he's got Garcia talking to himself.
Well, he has the ability to do that. He can throw hard. He's got a good slider, a cutter, changeup, 4 pitches, good velocity when he's pitching.
Garcia, and he is gone. So Bud Norris getting the job done out of the bullpen, retires the side in order. Take a look at our Honda do-ups. Hardy, Snyder, Flaherty. The Orioles trail by just 2. Nationals at 135. The first 20,000 fans 15 and over will receive the Orioles Hawaiian shirt. And make your summer even hotter, adding this little island flavor to your Birdland wardrobe. Good seats remain for the Sunday afternoon Battle of the Beltway, but they will not last. So get yours now at Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Samaja has gone the distance, giving up just the 3 hits to the Orioles. They'll have double barrel action as Putnam has been up now twice, and Zach Duke joining him. Beckham will be at third base. Gillespie out. And the pitch taken for a strike. J.J. Hardy has popped out, struck out. Orioles' best chance last inning. Couple of singles, got 2 on, 1 down. Samaja struck the side out. He has done that twice today. And that one will be bounced. Trying to protect a 2-0 lead in the same way that John Danks worked to protect a 1-0 lead in the ball game last night. Orioles 26 scoreless innings. One delivery on the way. That ball in the air to right center field. It'll curve back to right. Oops. Garcia gets out of the way, and Eaton, center fielder, makes the catch. Duck down time. It's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use O's Couch Cam, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile.
4th of July, a lot of opportunities.
Lots of parades, lots of flags. We thank the White Sox for sending us some very good watermelon. If you had any yet, it's up back. Real good. Can't go through a July 4 and not have some watermelon. Swing and a miss on a half cut by Snyder.
Yeah, pitches at 98. Very efficient. Boy, he's had good stuff, command. Had it all working today. I mean, not a comfortable guy to be facing.
0-1 delivery to Snyder's outside. The last time the Orioles were shut out 3 consecutive ball games, 1953. They have been shut out 2 consecutive, and so far in this one. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way by Samaja, and that will be inside. Count goes 2-1.
53 when they were the St. Louis Browns.
Yes. Yep. 2-1, 1 down. Coming into this ball game, the Orioles were a +44 in runs, and the White Sox were a -73. That'll be foul back, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Snyder. Robin Ventura's ball club 10 games out. Buck Showalter's team only a game behind in the East. 2-2 pitch on the way. Foul ball. Yesterday in the American League East, the only team that won were the Yankees. They won 2 in a row. Everybody else lost yesterday. The Orioles have lost 2 in a row. Tampa Bay's lost 6. Toronto's lost 2 in a row, and Boston with a loss yesterday. 2-2 delivery by the right-handers, fouled back.
Well, we ran into Kenny Williams, who's their vice president of baseball operations, and I was reading something. He kind of alluded to it. He said, you know, I kind of took the blame. He said, I hired Rick Hahn, Robin Ventura, all these guys. I just want them to relax. I want the players to play up to their capabilities. And maybe they're going to start doing that. You just never know.
2-2 off the end of the bat, left field.
But you just see really good stuff and off balance swings and lazy fly balls and pop ups, and I don't think, I mean, obviously sometimes you try too hard when you're struggling, but they're getting pitched to. I mean, Gallardo the other night, he didn't throw maybe 4 balls in the middle of the plate all night long. And then they went to the end of their bullpen talking about Texas. Last night, John Danks has been horrible, but he was very good in their bullpen. Robertson came in, their closer, struck out the side.
2 down here. Strike taken. Flaherty broke up the no-hitter with 2 down in the 6th inning. And then the Orioles would get a base hit from Paredes, a base hit from Davis, both coming in the 7th inning. 0-1 pitch to Flaherty. Samaja outside with it. Samaja's 9 strikeouts, equaling his high for this year. He has had complete games in past years, none so far this year. 5 complete games in his career. 1-1 pitch, 1-2.
Yeah, there's still 94 in the 8th, and big guy out of Notre Dame, wide receiver on their football team, so he's an athlete. And now he's even into the Louis Tion, bigger version of Louis, turning his back, like the going. He's got the slow stuff, the hard stuff.
He's homegrown almost, Maryville, Indiana, about 40 miles away. Flaherty will take the pitch up high. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Samaja's been in charge in this ball game, and they've given him just enough to be on top. The RBI single by Garcia, sac fly by Melky Cabrera. Flaherty will take it down and low. So a full count on Ryan Flaherty, trying to turn that lineup over and get to Manny Machado.
And this may be his last hitter.
Bullpen's ready.
Yeah, it really is. Putnam, the splitter guy, and then you got Zach Duke. Used to be a starter. He's done a great job. Another one of their acquisitions in the offseason.
Flaherty back again over the screen.
Yeah, good swing there. Got a pitch to hit. You know, you look at the scoreboard, you see 2-0, and the last thing that Jeff Samardzija wants to do is walk Ryan Flaherty. You know, he's probably going to give him something. It doesn't mean it's going to be a fastball, but whatever he thinks he could throw for a strike, he's going to throw. And today it's been like 4 pitches.
And Flaherty draws the walk. So that's the second walk surrendered, and Robin Ventura will come to get Samaja with the potential tying run coming to the plate in this ball game. So Jeff Samaja, most impressive performance, as he will go the 7 2/3 innings. He surrenders just 3 hits, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks, responsible for the base runner on. And there's a signal to the bullpen.
No hitter into the 6th inning. All right, I mean, fastballs and splitters and sliders and overpowering stuff. Trying to win for the 6th time, as he will leave with the 2 outs here in the 8th inning. There is the pitch selection. So a lot more change-ups and splitters. The Orioles a good fastball hitting team, so he mixed it up. Now your Jiffy Lube pitching change. Time for a little relief for your car too. Visit Jiffy Lube for regular oil changes and help prevent damage and wear to your engine. Jiffy Lube, drive in today. And there is, you can see, not a lot of fastballs, a lot of change-ups. Those are the splitters. So for Zach Putnam, that splitter about 84, 85, and then of course he can get the cut fastball up to 88. Pretty good numbers. And can he throw home runs if you're sitting at home? Yes, he threw one last Sunday and was actually in the game. Samardzija was a walk-off home run. James McCann in Detroit hit it.
Just turned 27 years old yesterday. 28 years old yesterday. Runner at first base, 2 down. Manny Machado 0 for 2 and a walk in the ball game. And Manny will take that one, and it is in there for a strike.
Yeah, there's a splitter, and of course he wants to pitch down in the zone. Manny is as good a high ball hitter as there is, and you can see only 2 of the inherited runners have scored.
Former Big Ten pitcher of the year, University of Michigan, out of Ann Arbor. 0-1 delivery, and he hits it deep to left field. Way back, and goodbye, home run. And this game is tied as the Orioles end the streak of scoreless innings on a Manny Machado homer on a no-doubter. And the Orioles are 2-2.
Yeah, we've been talking all afternoon. Would the wind affect a ball hit down the left field line, but not when it's hit like that. So James McCann of the Tigers hits one off of Putnam last weekend in the Samardzija game. And this is part of baseball. Chris Archer left with a big lead, threw about as well as anybody. 6 2/3, 7 2/3 for Samardzija. The bullpen comes in. It's the way they do it, and you get a no decision.
17th home run of the season. A comebacker. Play will be made by Putnam, but the boos will rain down on him as the Orioles here in the 8th inning get a couple of runs on one hit. Manny Machado delivering the long ball, his 17th home run. RBIs 45 and 46. Astros manager said, "I'm not optimistic he's going to avoid the DL." He was right. He went on the DL today. GM Sandy Alderson said of the manager, "This is not a Terry Collins watch. I think it's very unfair. We put a lot of how we've been playing the last few weeks on Terry. So Collins, at least for the moment, good news from upstairs." And for Terry Francona with Cleveland, of course, the manager, he's a native of New Brighton, PA, just 30 miles outside of Pittsburgh. He followed the Pirates as a teenager growing up. Great Pirates fan. They're playing there now. He said, "For the next 3 days, I hope they stink. Other than that, I'm thrilled and really proud." Terry Francona.
That is Terry Francona. So Manny Machado, very timely.
His home run worth $500 to Julia Garrison, our Maryland lottery contestant, and worth a tie game to the Orioles. So Bud Norris becomes the pitcher of record out of the bullpen, as both Tillman and Samardzija non-decisioned in the game.
Well, Beckham comes in, as we mentioned, came in for defense. He's like on one of those 4 for 54 runs. But again, power is up.
Norris will get a strike on the outside corner to him, and Beckham 1-1. Closer David Robertson is up for the White Sox.
Yeah, they may bring him in even if you don't get the lead, because traditionally at home comes in, your best pitcher pitches the ninth. If you don't win it here or get the lead in the 8th, you win it in the bottom of the ninth.
Beckham an 0 for 5 off Norris in his career. Norris working into his third full inning, has not given up a hit, a couple of strikeouts. Only runner to reach against him was on a strikeout wild pitch, but he worked his way out of that jam in the 6th. 1 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way, and down low for a ball.
Yeah, and how huge was that? You get Sanchez strikes out, but gets all the way to third on a wild pitch. Reader's 2-base error, and then he strikes out Eaton, gets Abreu, their best hitter, to bounce out. Huge. Would have made it 3-0.
2 ball, 2 strike delivery by Norris. This is when you look at that 2 for 12 the White Sox have with runners in scoring position today. It had to come back to haunt them. They've had so many really good scoring chances, and credit the Oriole pitching. Tillman and Norris able to get big outs. 3 ball, 2 strike delivery on the way by Norris, and again back into the screen.
And still very good stuff.
So the Orioles went 26 2/3 innings. The day warming up. 26 2/3 innings without scoring before the Manny Machado home run. Gordon Beckham waiting on a full count. Norris walks him. Leadoff man on, bottom of the 8th inning. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Tillman walked 1, Norris walks 1. White Sox will try and get a run out of this. So Manny Machado already moving in at third base with Ramirez coming to the plate looking for a bunt. See how Rami Ventura will play this. We're in the bottom of the 8th, and 1 may be enough. Ramirez, no sacrifices on the year. Machado comes in even closer. So Alexei Ramirez, runner at first. Parmalee playing off the bag and in a bit at first base. He does square, tried to go to first, takes the pitch. It's a ball. Did not offer.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good way to try to defense the button. Throw a breaking ball. Everybody, when I first came up years ago, hey, high fastball. Almost everybody expects it. Breaking ball, easier to get the batter. Even though it looked like Ramirez, you always want to use your legs to drop the bat from the top of the zone to the bottom, and a lot of hitters don't do that.
Almost. Parmalee knocks that one down as Norris almost threw it away.
Well, there's it's nothing against Bud. Over the course of my career, I pitched out of the bullpen my first year or whatever. It is a lot more difficult to pitch in tie games than it is when you're behind. It's just the way it is. Seen it over 30-some years now.
Ramirez does square, drives to drop it, lays down a beauty. Parmalee's got to go to first. Flaherty over to cover. There's his first sacrifice of the season. 1 down. Player designed t-shirt series coming back to Oriole Park Thursday, July 30. All fans at that evening's game against the Tigers get the glove Orioles t-shirt designed by the Gold Glover J.J. Hardy. Celebrate the O's shortstop and add to your Birdland wardrobe. For tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. That's going to be it for Norris. So Norris will come out of the ball game, but in his first relief appearance since 2013, a solid performance. Now it's matchup time out of the pen. Gonzalez on the mound. Our coverage on MASN will begin at 1:30. Lowe's Extra presented by Jeep, followed by our game coverage at 2. All the access you need right here on MASN.
So Miguel coming off a tough start against Texas, 3 home runs. And Rodon, hard throwing youngster, #1 draft choice from last year for the White Sox, already in the major leagues. Fastball slider pitcher.
Darren O'Day.
There are the numbers for Darren O'Day. Boy, what a June he had. 4-0, 20 strikeouts in the month. So this is a matchup, and
Soto is 0 for 1 against him. Runner at second, 1 down. J.B. Shuck is going to pinch hit for Soto. And he's got a base hit. Shuck delivers one down the line that will score Beckham. It's a double and an RBI, and the White Sox lead it 3-2.
Yeah, Soto, when he got Flowers, who caught last night, sitting around right here, and this is just a slider that stays down and in, doesn't do much. And then J.B. Shuck, who came up from probably about 5-6 weeks ago and got to play a lot, but lately just pretty much doing what he's doing, sitting on the bench, pinch hitting.
Well, he's getting it done. That is his 5th pinch hit. He's 5 for 16.
Well, we saw him when he came up a couple of years ago with the Angels, and it looks like he's a pretty good hitter, a high energy guy, and he gets the clutch hit to put the White Sox on top for the moment.
Now another runner out there at second base. So 3 for 13 in these situations, and a big hit to put them on top in the bottom of the 8th inning. That's their 11th hit of the game. The run will be charged to Bud Norris, who didn't give up a hit but did give up the leadoff walk that is now scored. And that one swung over the top of by Sanchez, who is 0 for 3. The Shuck with the big pinch hit RBI, and the White Sox go right back on top after the Orioles got 2 to tie it up with a Machado home run in the top part of the inning. Shuck off second base, and that's up high.
Yeah, this is a storyline the Orioles don't like. Thursday night's game, leadoff walk. Martin got a hit, and Odor got a hit. They lose 2-0. Base on balls, leading off innings. Don't want to do it. And when you do, bad things can happen.
2-ball, 1-strike delivery by O'Day, and that goes all the way to the backstop on a pitch that was riding in off the hands. 2-2. Well, the White Sox battling back here, and credit Ramirez. He laid down the sacrifice. They got that runner down to second base and made it an easy scoring opportunity on the Shuck 2-bagger. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 down. And the floater will miss outside. So a full count, 3-2. Top of the order, Adam Eaton waiting on deck. Three ball, 2-strike delivery to him. That's to center field. Jones perfectly positioned. Sanchez is out of there, 2 down. And Shuck goes back to second base. Adam Eaton coming up. Adam, top of the orders, had a rough day. A couple of strikeouts, 0 for 4, 3 chances with runners in scoring position and not able to get a base hit. Now he gets another opportunity. Two down. Eaton fouls it back. O'Day will be charged with his 3rd blown save. He doesn't come in those situations to be a save, but it is a save situation. 0-1 count. Big secondary lead for Shuck at second base. Outfield shaded to left. And a rip and a big one. 0-2. Eaton has not had a hit in the 2 games. He's now 0 for 8. here in this 2-game set. He's only had a couple of hits against the Orioles this year, 2 for 18. One of them a home run. O'Day's delivery swung on and missed. So O'Day will record the out, but here in the 8th inning, a run scores. 1 hit, 1 left on. The Orioles now need 1 to keep this game going to the 9th. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. With Jim Palmer, I'm Gary Thorne. This would be a heartbreaker for the Orioles if they can't come back. 9th inning, White Sox lead it by 1.
And they'll do it against a guy that the Orioles certainly know a lot about. David Robertson came in last night, struck out the side cutters, power curveballs. He comes out at the American League East, where he took the place of Mariano Rivera last year. 39 saves. So 9 out of his last 10, 4 in a row, 17 out of 21. So it's not like he can't blow saves, but you got the heart of your lineup open. So if you're going to give him a rousing finish, that's what you want to do here in the 9th inning.
One of the ironies of baseball in these kind of ball games is that Putnam, who worked only a third of an inning and gave up the home run to Machado that gave the Orioles the lead, could be the winner. And Norris, who worked 2 2/3 innings and did not give up a hit, but did get charged with a run, could be the loser.
Can't you bequeath the win?
Yeah,
just to somebody.
Hand it off to Samaja.
Exactly. Plus, he's bigger than Zach Putnam.
True.
Yeah, much bigger.
Well, the Orioles would like to make a waste of all of that here by coming back in the 9th inning. So here's Jones. He is 0 for 3, 0 for 7 so far in the 2 games. In the air, center field. Eaton. A pitch and an out.
Yep. Well, a lot of movement, and Jonesy not hitting well, overly aggressive, skies it to 7.
Follow the Orioles wherever you are. MLB.com at bat, #1 app for live baseball. At bat up to the moment at any moment. In-game highlights, live look-ins, replays, radio broadcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. 1 down, 9th inning. Chris Davis, a base hit, 1 for 3. He is 0 for 11 against David Robertson, who got his 17th save in last night's ball game. Up and in to lead him away. Davis, a 1-0 count, base hit his last time up. Matt Wieters would be the on-deck batter. Robertson with a 1-0. And there it goes, way back right field. Does it have legs? Oh, he caught it! What a catch by Garcia! He just saved the game. Garcia robbing Chris Davis of a home run in right field.
Well, look where he's playing. He had to be standing on the warning track to catch that ball. And does he ever? He's a big kid. well over the fence. If you're not 6'4" and you don't have this kind of wingspan, this ball is sailing into the Oriole dugout, or bullpen, excuse me. And I mean, it's a line drive.
What a catch by Garcia, and an appropriate celebration that he gave it when he realized he had caught the baseball, and the fans on their feet oohing and eyeing as they watch it on the replay. Avisel Garcia may have just saved the ballgame. Now the Orioles down to their final out to work with. 2 down.
Well, certainly a catch in the right direction, I would say.
Yeah. Matt Wieters. He will take the pitch for a strike. Wieters 3 for 11 lifetime. 1 home run off David Robertson.
And Matt's looking back and going, wait a minute, you called that? He's still looking. It was almost like it was, I'm just going to throw a high fastball for ball 1.
0-1 delivery on the way. That one is down low.
Well, he struck out Matt last night on that pitch, and of course that was only the 1-strike pitch. And then wind blowing right exactly where Chris Davis hit it. That made that catch even more amazing.
You will see that a few thousand times for the rest of this baseball season. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Wieters. And that is a strike at the knees, and Matt unhappy about that one too.
You know, if you watch Avisel Garcia actually just run out to right field, you will realize, we take another look at this pitch, and I mean, this ball's right down the middle. He had to reach back because he was sitting on the corner. You realize how athletic he is, and he is a big 24-year-old youngster.
1 ball, 2 strike delivery to Wieters, and he's gone. Called out on strikes to end the ball game. So the White Sox have taken the first 2 in this set, winning this one by a score of 3-2. They are now 17 and 14 in 1-run games. The Orioles 11 and 13 in 1-run affairs. And there's the man, Garcia, who saved it for them.